Jeremiah, the NFL Network, bold NFL predictions before the season kicks off tonight. Also over there, Spitting Lugs, LT and Tom Luganville. After week 1, does the SEC have a problem this season? That's part of the conversation. Episode 2 of Unlocked, LT and Brock Heward over there now. How will Colorado fare against Nebraska? Get a good prediction there on that one. And the latest episode of the Mystery Fifth Hour with all of us. That's all at Disrupt the Media over there. And subscribe as you go to that YouTube channel, Disrupt the Media. This is Jalen Milroe, Alabama's quarterback, before the big game this week in Texas. He was asked about his nerves after the first game.
Jalen, how confident are you walking up to the line and reading the defense and getting checks into the right place, getting Alabama into the right place?
To speak about, I think nervousness comes from lack of preparation. I think how I prepared throughout the week allows confidence on Saturdays. And also just that hunger to improve, just the meeting with the offensive staff, Coach Reese, and just speaking our game plan. I think that's key, just trying to be most prepared as possible and just approach every day, try to get 1% better.
That's our Moore's Marinade sound of the day. 1% better from Jalen Milroe. Everybody's coming to Tuscaloosa for the big game this weekend. Alabama still a touchdown favorite in that one. Tell us about our friends at Moore's.
Yeah, and if you're grilling in the backyard for that game or out on the quad when you're tailgating, make sure you involve Moore's Marinade. And also don't forget their wing sauce. You can dip, drizzle, or slather the buffalo wing sauce on absolutely everything there. Chicken fingers, burgers, sandwiches, pizza, pasta, tacos, fries, and more. You can see why grill masters prefer Moore's Marinade and wing sauces over all others. You can also get recipe ideas and grilling inspiration at mooresmarinades.com. That is mooresmarinades.com.
All right, Jalen Milroe, by the way, you guys are asking over there, Samuel, 6'2", 215 is what he's listed. He plays a lot bigger than that, 6'2", 215 for that. Tonight, it's Lions and Chiefs. You trusting in Pat Mahomes to be 6-0 in Week 1 games, or are you going with the Lions to live up to potential?
I'd like to know Travis Kelce's status. There's
he's not
talk
playing.
That by
He's not
Clark Hunt, the CEO, that he might play. I don't think he's playing either. I think I'm going to go to Lions here. I think I'm going to go Rockstar's Lions.
He's not playing. I'm gonna take the Lions as well tonight. Aiden Hutchinson will have a big game in Mahomes' face. Lance'sLock.com for the plays. Lance'sLock.com for the plays. And again, thank you for being with us today. Bud Light game night tonight out there at Top Golf, 5 to 7. If you're watching on the video platform, that'll be 6 to 7 for our show Central Time, 6 to 7. We'll talk about that game and a lot of the college football plays with Lance, who will join us from down on the coast. We'll talk about that tonight on Bud Light game night at Top Golf. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I've left behind. A simple prop to occupy my time. This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I've left behind. Thank you. Simple pride to occupy my time. This one goes out to the one I love.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Before we do anything else, a long sip of cold water, Brownie. It's big game weekend. Ready?
Get hydrated early, Jimmy D. You taking it?
You don't want cramps tomorrow,
No.
man. Big college football
Although,
weekend coming up.
It feels like the fall of the year outside this morning. Do you notice that?
62 degrees
Yes, sir.
as I was walking to my car today. It felt like football's a big game weekend. In this chair right here, in about 20 minutes, longtime journalist that's covered the Texas Longhorns, Chip Brown, in person right here. First time we met Chip Brown, Texas, Alabama, Pasadena for the national championship. Those two programs are now back at the top of the college football world. Alabama hasn't left. Texas is back. Chip Brown is in studio with us coming up in the next segment. Lance will join us later in the show with his pick 3 picks for the weekend. By the way, pick 3, Buffalo Wild Wings. Lunsford, it is up and booming right now at nextroundlive.com. Thumbs up. Lunsford does not want to talk about it. Just a thumbs up. Go play at nextroundlive.com. Nextroundlive.com, brought to you by all the great Buffalo Wild Wings in our area. Browning, NFL football last night.
Oh, Jimmy Dave.
Let's get to our Redmond Vodka instant reaction. Redmond Vodka, 8 times distilled Charles Barkley's vodka. Wherever you have it, order it by name. It's our friends at Redmond Vodka. The Lions beat the Chiefs 21-20. I think I nailed it when I said Aiden Hutchinson would be in Mahomes' face all night long. He was. The clock ticked quickly on Mahomes last night. I think the one thing nobody was expecting was that the Kansas City Chiefs receivers could not catch footballs.
They were pretty bad, and, Aiden Hutchinson, first of all, congrats to Rockstar. I know Rockstar as a lifelong Lions fan.
It's good, guys. It's just one game.
You've been waiting for this moment hey, boy, your fans that were in that stadium last night weren't treated like it was just one game.
Those have been fans for forever, you can tell.
No, they have been, and they were treated like y'all just won the Super Bowl.
Well, it is. It's nice to win one
it had to
on
feel like
primetime TV.
Aiden Hutchinson was so disruptive that basically Kansas City played with too many men in the backfield last night, and it wasn't Hutchinson. It was their right tackle.
Oh, my goodness.
That dude was deeper than Mahomes.
He was, and Collinsworth's so good at pointing this out, you started to be able to tell the play they were going to run. If he was up tight on the line, it was a
tipping.
running play.
Yep.
If he was back, it was a passing play, which only helps the defensive end.
Well,
by the way.
Hutchinson just unloads at that point, right? And at one point, I loved Collinsworth calling him the Kansas City right tackle or slot receiver or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, but no flags.
How do you not
that.
flag that at some point? And how does maybe Dan Campbell railed on it the whole game? I don't know.
Or maybe Dan Campbell liked it.
He could have.
Because
I don't know.
it was such a tell. If he was telling it like that, then Aiden Hutchinson and the other defenders were like, all right, this is a pass play. All right, this is a run play.
Maybe Campbell's like, hey, y'all, don't flag that, man. We're cool with it over here. We're cool. Let give the poor kid a chance, man.
Let that guy go all
He's
night
going
long.
against Aiden Hutchinson. Give the poor kid a chance.
Hutchinson and the Lions get the win. Here is the Lions fans. That's another thing that impressed the heck out of me. By the way, I felt like I was when I saw that picture pop up on my screen last night, late there in the fourth quarter, I thought to myself, this is a bad Kiss concert that has gone bad. What in the hell happened to Peter Criss is what I thought right there.
Thundercats movie is going to suck.
It looks more. It does look like the Cats musical, though. That's the way they used to look on that. I never went to one, but I've seen some.
I don't understand the double eyes, but hey, whatever. 4 eyes. What is it? Full heart, 4 eyes. Can't lose.
Something like that.
Lions, though, those fans were dominating the stadium last night in a great atmosphere. Detroit wins it 21-20 in a good win for them. Validation is what the coach said afterwards. He said, I didn't learn anything about my team. It just validated everything I knew about my team. One of the Kadarius Toney drops.
Oh, the huge one in the last possession there.
Interception by Bryan Branch, though. Pick 6 the other way.
That was big.
And that turned the game around.
Yeah, but you're still down 1 with Mahomes' ball in hand, and he hits Toney wide open over the middle. Now, that ball is not 100% on the money, but you're an NFL wide receiver. You got to make that catch in that situation. And you heard the crowd start booing him because Toney had such a bad game. And I'll tell you what, to me, Dunaway, that's the takeaway from this game. And, look, I know we go knee-jerk a lot in sports and on this show, Jim, But if I'm a Kansas City fan today, I first of all, I go home and I say, well, I guess we need to pay Travis Kelce every dollar he wants next time he asks for something. That's number one. And number two, I'm scared to death if the guy ever goes down again. That is such an average offense without Travis Kelce.
Yeah, and if Mahomes is ever hobbled like he was at the end of last year.
Yeah.
All right, so that's last night. Big weekend coming up in college, in the NFL. We'll set the table for the atmosphere in Tuscaloosa. We got a special guest that's going to join us a little bit later on in this first segment. That's part of the festivities that has come down to Tuscaloosa. But first, let's do our 4 downs. Brought to you by our friends at Slice. Tell me a little bit about Slice as we get to our 4 downs. It's an NFL-related 4 downs.
All right,
today.
4 great locations of Slice. Great original pizza like the Hot Mama, the Soul Pie. They are all fantastic, and you could find out more at slicebirmingham.com. Go visit one of those great locations this weekend, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
So everybody believing now in the Lions. What about the Vikings in that division? If I say over under 9.5 wins, they open up with the Buccaneers, so I give you one. 9.5 wins, Vikings, over under.
I'm going to go under. They were a house of cards last year. I told you that. It played out in the postseason when the Giants beat them in the playoffs. I don't think they're any better this year. I think everything broke for them last year. I'm going to go under 9 for the Vikings. I think they regress greatly.
9 seems like the number, so I'll go under 9.5, right at 9.
Second down.
More touchdown passes this weekend. Aaron Rodgers against the Bills. Trevor Lawrence for Jacksonville in their game. Who are they? Is it Indianapolis?
Jacksonville's at Indianapolis.
Yeah, Indianapolis. So more touchdown passes this weekend. Factor in Tank Bigsby maybe running the football with Travis Etienne.
Jets got a good running back too, and Breece Hall. I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers in the Monday night game. Don't feel good about that answer, but I couldn't pull the trigger on Trevor Lawrence on the road.
Likely push 2-2 in my opinion, but I'm gonna go slight Aaron Rodgers.
Calvin
today.
Ridley's had an incredible. You talk to any of the NFL people, all they can talk about is Calvin Ridley. So he could be a handful for the Colts this weekend in Indianapolis. It's still hard not to go. It just seems like the storyline is going to play out here on Monday Night Football, and Aaron Rodgers is going to make the Jets look like world beaters. I guess I'll go Aaron Rodgers. Don't feel great about that.
I'll go Aaron Rodgers slightly there.
Third down.
All season long, more wins. Seattle or Denver? Not in the same division anymore, obviously, but Geno Smith at Seattle. Russell Wilson, who used to be at Seattle, now in Denver. I got a feeling Denver has more wins this year than Seattle. What about you?
I'm going to be consistent here. I've never been a believer that Sean Payton's just going to go in and snap his fingers and make Russell Wilson back into the old Russell Wilson. He's just old Russell Wilson now.
Abracadabra.
I do not think he's got a magic hat, Jim, that he could pull the old Russell Wilson out of. So I am going to say Pete Carroll in Seattle just keep doing what Pete Carroll does, and they will slightly, maybe only by a win, have more than Denver.
Fourth down.
And finally on the NFL, well, not the NFL. This is our celebrity birthdays. Happy birthday, by the way, Latrell Sprewell.
Oh, Spree? What is he, 45?
I got him at 53.
53?
Yeah, you're not as good as Lance.
I'm in the
He was once 45.
I'm in the 8-year window, Rockstar.
He's not part of this start, bench, or cut with 3 other celebrity birthdays today and tomorrow. Pink today is 44, entertainer Pink. Tomorrow, Hugh Grant and Adam Sandler birthday. Start, bench, or cut.
Jeez.
Pink, Hugh Grant, Adam Sandler.
Well, I'll cut Hugh Grant because I haven't thought of him in forever. Sadly, I guess it's a sad admission. I don't know. I've probably consumed more of Adam Sandler's work than Pink's. Yeah, I could leave or take Pink. Don't have anything against her. I'm not a huge fan of hers either way.
You're
I'll
benching her?
I'll start Sandler. I'll bench Pink, and I'll cut Hugh Grant.
Okay, I'm gonna start Pink. Love her, great vocalist.
Not surprised.
Also,
Great gymnast. She's like a circus performer.
very good in the Cirque du Soleil atmosphere as well. But I love some of her music. I'm gonna bench Hugh Grant. I mean, he's a romantic comedy king. And
What's the last thing he's ever done?
And of course, he's in Love Actually.
Yeah.
Big part in that. So
Lunsford just says in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, Hugh Grant's in Dungeons and Dragons?
You didn't know that?
New.
Of course, he plays Bacalushle.
and I'm going to sadly cut Adam Sandler. Love his work. All 3 of these just ring my bell all over the place.
Better career, Adam Sandler or Pink? I think it's Sandler.
I'm going to go.
Sandler gets paid a lot of money.
Sandler gets paid a lot
Yep.
of money. If we go by money, it would be Sandler.
Yeah.
What about you, Rockstar? Bench, cut, or bench? Start, bench, or
I
cut?
think I would mimic Brown, sadly. I mean, Pink's great, but
I don't have anything against her, but
Sandler is a moneymaker, and then Hugh Grant's not in a lot of things like that. But he is. Did you know he's the bad guy in Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, is he? Plays evil guy.
hey, you know what? Hugh Grant, the last thing I saw him in was The Gentleman. Am I right about that?
Possibly. I never saw it.
No, Troy's saying the same thing.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal in The Gentleman. Yeah, I'd forgotten about his role. I did like that movie, by the way.
Yep.
So there you go. So maybe I should bring Hugh Grant back.
That is, Gaston says Liz Hurley has extended her prime in ways that are difficult to understand, going back to Hugh Grant.
She likes her kid to take pictures of her in a bikini.
Yeah, Liz doing all right, though.
It's okay. You got to train them how to take pictures.
That's right.
Rockstar.
You gotta
I
frame
can't-
those things
I
up
can't
right.
help that I'm in a bikini
Yeah.
all the time. That's our 4 Downs brought to you by Slice. 4 great locations. Go by and get lunch today. Nice slice and a salad. It's a great way to get started on this weekend. Big football game happening this weekend around college football, but also over in Tuscaloosa. We always recommend this, Brown.
What are we recommending, Jim?
For all
Hydrate?
for all your cocktails.
Different hydration.
For all your cocktails, whether it's at your tailgate or if you're watching at home, our friends with Chicken Cop Bourbon Whiskey here, they have a great ride that I enjoy at the house. This is an American heritage bourbon whiskey from right there back in the day. This old brand, it was called back in the day. Great taste. I pour mine neat usually, occasionally over ice, but good to mix as well. It's the great folks at Chicken Cock. Ask for it by name wherever you buy your bourbon. Make it a Chicken Cock kind of weekend. With that in mind, from outside of the footprint comes College Game Day. And Brown, if I tell you, when you think of the imagery of College Game Day, you think of the opening song, Coming to Your City.
That's right. New group doing that now. Cadillac 3, Laney Wilson, and Darius Rucker. You did not like it.
I like the way you went Cadillac 3 first. That would be the forgotten one.
Right.
I would have gone.
I had to say it so I'd remember their name.
And then you think of, Corso putting on the headgear.
So it's iconic.
But one of the
Pat McAfee's belt buckle.
One of the most consistent thing, waves at every College Game Day for a record number. I don't even know what the number is. Let's bring in Paul Counts. Paul, do you know what the number is? Paul Counts is one of the guys that's a Washington State alum that's come to town to wave the flag this weekend in Tuscaloosa. Paul, man, how you doing?
Yes. Doing amazing. How are you guys doing?
Doing awesome. So you've come into town from where? You live where?
I live in actually Seattle area, Bremerton, Washington.
So I did not know we fly in people to fly the flag. I just assumed it was people in the area that happen to be Washington State graduates. I did not know this.
Well, it generally is. I just happened to be going to this game with my girlfriend, actually. And when I heard game day was coming, I reached out to the Coug alum in the area, and I'm going to wave the flag. This is my 5th time waving the game day flag.
Wow.
Okay, now for those of us that have not followed this story, do you travel with the flag? Is there somebody locally that has the flag? How does the flag get place to place? Is it the same one every game day? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's the same one. It actually on occasion gets retired because sometimes it gets tired. But this is episode 289. So for 289 straight episodes, the Coug flag is flown. We actually have an organization called All Crimson Boosters, and they actually fund this campaign through donations. And there's actually several great guys that organize this whole movement. And what happens is we have Coug alum everywhere, and so wherever game day is, there's actually somebody stationed that actually has the flag, and it literally gets flown around from location to location. So there's a point person at each location. They set everybody up. They send us all the information on where to stand, what to do, how to wave the flag, all the logistics. But it's just a great way to show our school pride, and we're really honored to be doing it in Tuscaloosa.
All right, St. Joseph's has a mascot. What are they? The Eagle Hawks. It's a hawk.
Yeah, and he
always has to, the entire game, he has to wave his arms. The entire game. Cannot stop. That's the tradition. Is that what you guys try to do? Always keep that flag moving in the background the whole game?
Always keep it going. Always
Okay.
keep it going during game day. And it gets heavy at times, but that's why we have a group. Like last week for episode 288 in South Carolina, there was 30 different Cougs, and we're expecting a similar turnout here
Okay,
as well.
so if you have, because I can't make it through game day without having to go to the bathroom, if you have to go take a whiz, you can hand it off to another Washington State guy, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
We actually
The
have
flag is
sometimes
what you're
3
handing
flags
off, yeah.
flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have multiple flags flying too. So,
Oh,
so you'll see them.
So this weekend, multiple flags.
Multiple flags. Yeah. Yep. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm interested. So this isn't your first time, right, to wave the
No.
flag? How many times have you been honored to wave the old crimson?
This is my 5th game day, so 5th time. My best experience ever was on our rivals campus at University of Washington. We had a limo pull up. ESPN producers actually worked with us through that ordeal. We had security detail protecting us. The boos were the best thing. Anytime you can get your rivals riled up, that's the best thing. That was probably the best ultimate moment of waving the flag. But this is going to be my first time in SEC country. I've done several Big 12 games. I am beyond excited for an SEC game, and I think it's going to be wild.
It should be noted that he said his girlfriend. He and his girlfriend were going to the game. Does your girlfriend have rooting interest in this game?
Yeah, so for Bama, she went to University of Alabama. So
okay, yeah. All adds up now.
It does. Roll Tide.
Oh, okay. Undefeated, we like to say on the show.
Yes.
So when you're at campuses that does not involve Washington State or even Pac-12, how do people treat the flag and you guys waving it? Do people want their picture taken with you guys?
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. People want pictures, they want to hear the story, they want to know all about it. People always, the misconception always is that it's the same people at every single game day. Like, I wish it was that. That'd be an amazing life, but it literally is different people every game day. But yeah, people want to take pictures. Everybody's so kind. I mean, the only time I've seen any kind of weird animosity was at University of Washington, but whatever.
Yeah, you understand that. That's a rival. Yeah.
Yeah, I understood that one.
Yeah.
It was cool though, because we were living rent free in their head. We weren't even playing them on game day, and they had more signs about us than they did the University of Oregon. That was the best part about it.
See, that sounds like a real rivalry.
I like
we
it.
would never see that between Auburn and Alabama fans.
Bobby, who's a Auburn fan, says, not going to lie, I think this is a top 10 tradition in all of college football. The Washington State flag on game day, and this is an Auburn guy saying that. He's got no rooting interest there, so that's actually a pretty cool compliment to what you guys are doing. Yeah,
that means a lot. It really is. It's a great tradition. I mean, 289 episodes, and for us, it's really about showing our school pride. I mean, we've kind of have this chip on our shoulder, like Cougs versus everybody. We're used to being underdogs, so we, really the tradition started in 2003. We wanted game day to come to Pullman, and they weren't. We were highly ranked at the time. We had a great team. We had a Heisman candidate. I mean, everything was going in our favor, and game day still wasn't showing up. So we said, we're going to go to game day. The tradition started in 2003 by a great guy named Tom Pounds, and it's now carried through. We finally had game day come to Pullman in 2017. That was a huge, huge deal. It was really exciting. And, now even going through conference realignment and all that crazy stuff, I mean, we don't even know if we have a home next year. But we're still so prideful, so excited to be waving our flag and showing our school spirit. And it's been a great part for the university.
That's really cool, man.
From the chat room, before we let you go, Paul is very nice. His plane just landed in Huntsville, and he's about to drive down to Tuscaloosa. If there is another show on another network that goes up against game day now on Fox, and Fox has always been Big Pac-12 too. Have you guys ever thought about spreading the tradition over there? Is there a discussion in your group about that, or are you game day loyal?
Very game day loyal. I mean, ESPN's been so great for this whole movement. I mean, it's the producers of the show, everything. I mean, there was a story where one time the game day flag actually was not going to make it because FedEx had issues, and ESPN took the flag they have in Bristol, Connecticut, and sent it somehow through overnight courier to the location, because the producer said, and I quote, "I've been here 10 plus years. The Coug flag has always flown, and I'm not about to do an episode without the Coug flag."
Oh,
so,
that's really cool. That gave me chills. That gave me chills. Yeah.
Well, listen, as you know, not a lot of rooting interest for Washington State down here, but people here love college football, and these are the types of traditions that make it great. So welcome to Alabama. Hope you enjoy your stay here, and we appreciate you giving us a little history on this. It's really cool.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it.
Take care, Paul.
Safe travels, Paul, and
thank you.
Don't get any good Southern barbecue sauce on that thing. I guess we wouldn't even notice it. Yeah. Paul, thank you, man.
It's the right color.
Yeah, it is the right color. Paul, thank you so much. We appreciate Paul Counts there. He's part of the old Crimson waving crew that'll be over in Tuscaloosa for game day tomorrow morning. You got the McAfee show today in town. You got SEC Nation with Laura Rutledge and the crew. Roman Harper, part of our gang, over there tomorrow, and of course College game day in town. So there you go, man. Just a huge weekend going on over in Tuscaloosa. Barstool, are they in town too?
Yeah, I think they're doing a show
show
Saturday, I believe. Yeah,
just a an amazing amount of crowd, and it's not going to be Game of the Century 2011 fans outside. And it's not going to be 2019 LSU-Alabama, another Alabama-LSU matchup where President Trump showed up.
That's right, yep.
Yeah, it's not going to be that.
Madhouse.
But there are going to be a lot of the same security measures in place because they are expecting, tens of thousands of fans to be outside the stadium tailgating and experiencing the game day without tickets. And so there are some extra maybe time precautions. You need to make plans to get inside the stadium as you go over there tomorrow for the big game. That's a little PSA from yours truly. Nothing official from the university on that. I'm just telling you, from everything I'm seeing, you want to get there a tad earlier tomorrow to make your way inside the stadium and to enjoy the tailgating that will go on over there. Speaking of that big game, we're about to bring in Chip Brown next segment. We're going to talk to him about these Longhorns. Go check out Talk of Champions, where Tyler Watts, the Crimson Tide Sports Network analyst. You have to go to Roll Tide Pods now. Like and subscribe. Go straight to Roll Tide Pods on YouTube, and you'll get Tyler's breakdown of what he expects to see from the Texas Longhorns and from Alabama in this game. We'll talk to Chip about the Texas side of that coming up. The show being brought to you in part by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision on that look ahead.
969-8100, Doctors Jennifer and Mark Michelson. Mark is the dad, Jennifer's the daughter. They're the family that has they've been innovators in this LASIK surgery. If you're struggling with your vision, LASIK might be right for you. Just call and get an evaluation. Amy will answer the phone. And you tell her, hey, the boys at the next round sent me over here to you, 969-8100. Get that evaluation. See if LASIK is right for you. It changed Lance's life. It could change your life, too. LASIK surgery from our friends, Dr. Mark and Jennifer Michelson at Michelson Laser Vision, 969-8100, MichelsonLaserVision.com. Chip Brown is next.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
The next round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Lions win last night. We started the show with that. Joe Burrow got a contract. And can you imagine Joe Burrow from 2018 when you were doubting him or whether or not he was any good, Brown?
I was not alone, but yes.
To winning the national championship in 2019, helped out by a huge back-and-forth game in Austin. Chip Brown with us now, where Texas could have easily won that game in 2019. Really late, Burrow made some tight throws, and LSU wins that game. Then he goes pro. Now he's the highest paid player in NFL history, 5 years, $275 million, $55 million a year, $219 million guaranteed. What a rise for Joe Burrow. We'll get to all of that and set you up for Texas after I tell you our friend at Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City, gives you that free no-cost roof inspection, absolutely free. Here's his cell number, 205-542-3531, 542-3531, A-plus rated with a Better Business Bureau. Insurance companies trust him. And again, it's a free, no-cost, no-obligation roof inspection, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook, Storm Restoration Roofing. You feel it? You feel it, Chip? Is it a big game?
Oh, it's a big game. It's a big game. I mean, you know, it just seems like whenever these two teams meet, cataclysmic things happen. You know, for Texas, it's can we keep our quarterback healthy enough to make it out of the first quarter?
Right.
Because the last two meetings.
That's right, yeah.
You know, the 2009 season, January 7th, 2010. The whole Colt McCoy thing, Marcel Darius has the game of his life that night, and that really was the beginning of Texas's fall from grace and the ascension of Saban. You know, That was his first national championship at Alabama. Of course, now he's won 6 at Bama, 7 total. But it started this spiral for Texas that included the craziness of 2013 when there was a group of big money donors at Texas who wanted to try and hire Nick Saban. And Tom Hicks, former owner of the Texas Rangers, former owner of the Dallas Stars, was right in the middle of it. You know, he's on the phone with Jimmy Sexton in January of 2013, then goes and tells Mac Brown, you know, hey, you still want to keep coaching, or what are you thinking? Yeah, I want to keep coaching. Oh, okay, because we talked to Jimmy Sexton, and, you know, maybe Nick Saban could take over for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's going to go over.
Smart move. Yeah, Mac was like, okay, cool.
Like, Mac lost his mind after that loss to Alabama in that 2009 game. He was just ripping his coaching staff for not having a running game when Colt got hurt. So, craziness. Alabama goes up. Texas goes off into the college football wilderness for 13 years. And now here we are, you know, back. Steve Sarkisian feels like he's got a team that can win a conference championship. Obviously, Alabama with the new quarterback situation. Jalen Milroe looked great last week. I thought, and I want y'all's opinion on this, I thought Saban's kind of snarky response to the question about Milroe was Saban's way of keeping everyone on the offense and Milroe from eating the poison cheese.
Oh, 100%.
Like he was trying to.
Yeah, and not to push up the expectations of everyone else of Milroe.
Yeah. And the thing I think most people have finally learned about Nick Saban is the vast majority of those blow-ups and press conference aren't intended for the media.
Right.
They are intended so that the media shares that so that his team sees it, right? He knows if he blows up, it's what's going to come out of that news conference, and it's what everybody's going to see.
Yeah, and that was what Jimmy Johnson did, with the Dallas Cowboys.
It's what Bobby Knight did. It's what any of these coaches that have thought to have been, short fuse guys, it's what they've always done because they know that message gets out more than any message. We're the idiots of the media, like, oh, Coach blew up. Let's everybody show Coach blowing up. But we keep doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's fascinating because Saban, his his I don't want to say mannerisms, but the way he's sort of been conducting himself going into this season. I think people were reading into it like, oh, he's on edge. Maybe he doesn't have the team or the mojo that he normally has. And, I mean, my God, how many coaches have been picked off of his staff to become head coaches, and then those head coaches take coaches with them like Sarkisian did? I mean, I think Sarkisian really was going to take Pete Golding too, but when he took Jeff Banks, I think Saban got really pissed and was like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah,
You
can have
enough.
one.
No more. Yeah, you're not taking Golding. I'll keep Golding for another couple of years, and then I'll.
Yeah, but the offensive line coach is out there from Alabama. How much of an Alabama flavor does Sark have on this staff and the people behind the scenes?
I mean, I thought that played a huge role in last year's game in the way that Ewers got off to the good start. 9 of 12 passing in the first quarter. Jalen Milroe's not going to throw more than 18, 19 passes in the game tomorrow. And Ewers was 9 of 12 in the first quarter for 134 yards. Hit Worthy with a 22-yard pass, a 46-yard pass to set up the touchdown. Of course, he gets planted by Dallas Turner, and he's out of the game. But I thought the familiarity of Sarkisian with Saban's tendencies, he knew what he was doing. He knew where to hit him, where it hurts, and obviously Saban knows where Sarkisian, doesn't like to go. So I think it's fascinating. But this is, I think that familiarity is big, and I think it's time for Quinn Ewers. Now we got to see it. Like, okay, Texas would have won the game if Quinn Ewers stayed healthy. Okay, well, let's see him walk into a Coliseum like Bryant Denny and see if his voice is dropped,
A great way to put that. Hey, our friends at Hemphill brings you part of the show for all your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs. Trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. Hemphill Services. Call them now, 205-229-2090, 229-2090. Tyler Watts, who's the analyst on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, and Roman Harper, who will be a part of SEC Nation and the former Alabama great, both of them. We talked this week with both of them about the Texas receiving corps. And it's a lot of our belief that this will be the best receiving corps Alabama faces all year. Tennessee will be good, LSU will be good, but this Texas receiving corps, probably 4 or 5 deep, is going to be the best receivers Alabama face all year long. Do you perceive this receiving corps to be that good, and how big of an impact do you think they'll have in the game with no Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, they have to be the players of the game on offense, because after watching the offensive line last week, no Bijan Robinson, and we can talk about C.J. Baxter, the freshman. C.J. Baxter's still trying to figure it out. Jonathan Brooks has been around, but and Sarkisian loves to throw the football. We know that, and he'll throw it to set up the run, and I think that's where they are right now. Worthy is going to command everyone's attention because he's just so fast. He's so fast in and out of his breaks. I mean, he doesn't just have straight line speed. He has unbelievable, short area quickness. He's going to command attention. I'm fascinated to see if Alabama will play one-on-one. Do they put Kool-Aid McKinstry on him and just say, have at it, fellas? Or do they shade toward Worthy, leaving A.D. Mitchell in man coverage? And then you have J.T. Sanders, the 6'4" basketball player playing tight end, great hands, contested catch maker in the middle of the field. And that's where, Sarkisian, the second year of Quinn Ewers in his system, he's got to see the field. And then don't force it, dump it down to the backs, because we saw last week they had that little kind of flip screen where he fakes it it was a 2-back set. Keelan Robinson goes to the left, he fakes the pass, turns around, hits Brooks, 33-yard touchdown run, which was very similar to a touchdown they had in the bowl game. So, and Brooks dropped a walk-in touchdown last week in the first half. So the guys catching the football are going to be the players of the game for Texas in this one, in my opinion. And they need to get off to a good start, because you don't want Bryant Denny, you don't want the roof going off in that place for 3.5 hours. You got to do something early to kind of stifle that and then get your footing and see if you can hang around.
Chip Brown is with us. Horns247.com, at Chip Brown247 on Twitter is where you follow him. Our guests always appear on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. A huge storyline in this game, and I know this is on the Alabama side, but I'm curious how much the Texas faithful have been paying attention to Alabama's secondary injuries. Malachi Moore, the reports are, the rumors, whatever you want to call it, that he has practiced enough this week that he's a likely. Key, maybe not as much. I mean, that's big in this game. Is Alabama, whose secondary looked pretty good until they started getting banged up last week.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Sarkisian's keeping an eye on that because his game plan is going to be to attack them vertically and see where the weaknesses are, who to put in conflict in RPOs. We know that Sarkisian is really, really good between the 20s. You all know that better than anyone from the 2020 season. He's fantastic between the 20s. It's when he gets into the red zone that it gets tricky, and it got tricky for Texas last year. So if they can, hit the big play, I think, that's going to be key because I feel like if they get into the red zone, Texas is kicking field goals.
And you got a freshman safety, too, in Caleb Downs. Now, look, he was one of the best players in America as a high school player. This kid is not just your normal freshman, but he's still a freshman. And he's only played Middle Tennessee, and you wonder how much, Sark is likely going to see what this kid can do when he catches him in coverage.
Yeah, and the thing about it's great to be at home, and Brian Denny's absolutely worth the 3+ points that you get from home field advantage. But if you can punch and hit, the home team and kind of bring it down, then the pressure starts to build on the guys on the field.
There's no doubt.
For Bama. Guys like Jalen Milroe who are just, settling into this new role. A freshman like Caleb Downs. And so that's going to be interesting, too, to see how those players handle the moment. I'm not absolutely convinced about Quinn Ewers. Tomorrow to me is a huge moment for Steve Sarkisian and Quinn Ewers to show that they're elite. Quinn Ewers was the number 1 rated recruit in all of the land 2 years ago. Number 1. And Steve Sarkisian, we know, is a fantastic offensive mind. We saw it at Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
But can he do it while managing the whole thing? That's what we haven't seen yet at Texas. He's had unbelievable first halves. Last week they had a good second half. Haven't seen it put all together in a huge moment, a big stage like this.
It's like I'm watching season 1, episode 2 of Friday Night Lights, and you're the radio guy who's questioning whether Sorensen can go out there and actually win the game. It's not just blind luck. That first quarter last year against Alabama, it was just blind luck. Can he do it again? Hydra Live sound of the day. Rockstar, give me cut 2. Brownie, tell us about Hydra Live. Chip, I want you to hear Nick Saban last night on Hey Coach with this right here. Tell us about Hydra Live and then listen into this.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy. It's all under one roof, 7 days a week. Hoover, Greystone, Homewood, 9 to 6 is Hydra Live. HydraLiveTherapy.com. They even make house calls and office calls. HydraLiveTherapy.com.
The one thing you have for the first game is you have more time to prepare, so you can rep more and all that. And obviously the quality of opponent that we have this week is going to be, the quality of players is going to be more challenging for our players, but at the same time, you get a chance to see where you are. Playing the first game is a great barometer for players to, see where I am. This game this weekend is going to be a huge test for individual players, and because they're going to play against a really good player. Sure. And you've heard me say before, talent gets you so far, but then you got to have the right mindset. Well, now you're going to get challenged by a really good player. How are you going to respond to that? And then how are we going to respond to that as a team in terms of how can we execute together as a group with everybody being accountable to do their job?
Yeah, different mindset. How much, you don't play these games in history, but how much of the players, and there's a lot of them from Texas that played in last year's game, go into this game with a mindset that we played with them last year. We can beat this team. Does that help Texas in this game, you think?
I think it really helps their defense because I think the Texas defense is legit. I don't have any questions about that. And Tavondre Sweat, number 93, I'd heard all camp, this guy's taking his game to a new level. It's a contract year. He's 362 pounds. He moves really well. Byron Murphy, number 90 on the defensive line. And, Jalen Ford at middle linebacker, the preseason Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, had another interception last week. He had 4 last year. The guy he studies film. He knows where to be, knows where to drop. And I think that defense hits the field comfortable. The offense is where I want to see it because the offensive line did not look good last week against Rice. I mean, they gave up Calvin Banks, their All-American left tackle, passes off a defensive tackle to the guard. The guard's over in the center. The guy runs in for a 12-yard sack. That stuff wasn't happening last year, and all those starters are back. So, they'll probably get that cleaned up, but you want to see it. In this atmosphere, that's the thing. I mean, Texas had the home crowd last year, and their kicker hit the 49-yarder with 1:29 left to give Texas a 2-point lead. And, Bryce Young works his magic down the field. And I haven't seen the Goldman Sachs commercial with the 2 kickers.
I have not either.
I keep hearing about it.
It's a heck of an NIL deal, but I have not
Right.
seen it. I think it airs during this game this week.
Yeah, I've seen it. I just haven't seen it on the air.
Right.
Okay. I haven't seen it during
I
a
think it may be
broadcast.
making its debut during the Bama-Texas game or this weekend. Yeah.
Texas fans may not love it because Auburn is actually holding for Reichert.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, Auburn, walk on. He'll take whatever he can get.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's getting paid to say whether he kicks or
You want
holds,
me to
right?
hold? You want me to break the traps?
I'll tell you,
mow your lawn.
Auburn's a better actor than Reichert, so that may be how they ended up deciding who actually did the kick.
Is his hair in full glory?
It is in full glory, and in fact, during one of his lines, he grabs it and runs his fingers through his hair, so he plays up the hair quite a bit. That's a commercial NIL deal with the 2 kickers in this contest. More with Chip. He's going to hang out a little bit. Another segment, we'll talk more about the Texas-Bama game, but also about other games going on in the nation. It is a big weekend, and Chip doesn't always just talk Texas. He knows college football. So we're going to talk about a bunch of games. Todd Furman from Vegas at the top of the hour. And then after that, our Monday's headlines today. We always do that on the show. Rockstar's Playhouse is a good 4.5 minutes this week. I think it's
I love
good.
it. It's a good one.
It's actually 6 minutes long, but 4.5 minutes of it is really good. That'll be coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll have our picks, and LT will be with us in the final segment today with his picks as well for the big weekend coming up. We'll get to Zach Bryan. I think he's this generation's Johnny Cash.
Oh, wow.
We will get to Zach Bryan coming up as well on the show. That's being brought to you in part by our friends at NASCAR. I don't know what kind of music you listen to.
All of it.
Do you like Zach Bryan, the angry Midwesterner? Yeah, I like Zach. Hardy's in town for the NASCAR race coming up September 30th, October 1st at the Talladega Superspeedway. You buy your tickets at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. You get a ticket to the Craftsman Truck Series playoff race on Saturday, the Hardy concert Saturday night, and the Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Cup Series playoff race the next day. It's all right there, 200 miles per hour, world's fastest speedway. That's a record. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. This is the next round.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter at RockstarBHM.
The next round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today. DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
You know, sometimes you need to chill out with our friends at Woodhouse. Before Brownie tells you about that, someone probably needed a massage, a little zen moment yesterday. Traffic stop in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My favorite artist right now, Zach Bryan, gets... he started interfering with an investigation during the traffic stop. He apologized, got a little hot-headed, and gets arrested. Oh, here we go. Zach Bryan's mugshot yesterday. Today I had an incident with the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Emotions got the best of me, and I was out of line in the things I said. I support law enforcement as much as anyone can. Important word there, can. I was just frustrated in the moment. It was unlike me, and I apologize. They brought me to jail, and there is a mugshot of me floating around. Yes, there is. Thank you, TMZ. Prayers, we can all move on from this, and prayers, people know I'm just trying the best I can. I love you guys, and I'm truly sorry to the officers. That's Zach Bryan yesterday. Mugshot time.
That is some Johnny Cash now. I didn't know why. I was unaware of this story, so I did not know why you were comparing to Johnny Cash.
It is being, Chip, if you're familiar enough with the show, I'm known as Jimmy Landmine. Like, if I like something, predict something, or say something, sometimes bad things happen. This is being put into, I think Forrester, can I get Forrester's mic? I think Forrester, you quickly tweeted this out when it happened last night, saying what?
I said never doubt the landmine.
This has been
it's undefeated
for about 18 months. I have said Zach Bryan's name on this show more than I have Lance's name.
Right.
And now he's was incarcerated for a brief moment yesterday. It's interesting.
Jimmy
stuff.
Landmine.
The old Woodhouse Zen moment is what Zach needed yesterday.
Well, then I can't wait to hear your prediction for tomorrow's game.
Yeah. Well, he always goes Bama. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com if you want to get that massage or give a gift of a massage. And again, I know it's just September. Y'all don't like us rushing Christmas, but if you're already thinking about holiday gift ideas, Woodhouse Spas is a great place. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com to see more and purchase right there online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. I wanted to ask Chip. Chip Brown is in studio with us, Horns 247, part of 24/7 Sports at Chip Brown 247, does a radio show there in Austin. Has been a friend of ours for a very, very long time. We were reminiscing, as you mentioned. We met the first time back in 2010 in Pasadena. Chip's been coming on the show ever since, and Lance does his show a ton. This whole ticket situation, it was a big deal here last year when Texas put the Bama fans up in the upper deck, and Greg Burns said, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. How has that been received in Austin?
Well, they get it. They get it. It's quid pro quo.
Yeah.
And so, the Texas tickets, I guess, are all in the upper deck.
Every one of them, yeah, which is I've never seen. It's never happened to Bryant Denny.
Yeah, to just even out of conference visitors.
Yeah,
Alabama usually gives them the SEC treatment. There's about 2,000 seats, about 10-yard line in, goal line. Sometimes
corner of the end zone, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the band's there for the visiting teams if they bring one, and family members of the players and some of the dignitaries that don't have a box.
Yeah, it's high-dollar traveling party seats, yeah.
And then the rest of them are in the upper deck. Well, last year, Texas, Chris Delconte said, I gotta take care of Texas people. And so Alabama was up there. Band didn't travel because they were going to be so far up there. So this is uncharacteristic of Alabama to do this, even for out-of-conference games, Penn State, anybody else. But it's a rule. You guys, as you come into the SEC,
right.
It is a gentleman's agreement that
you have to give them some lower bowl.
Yeah, there's a certain percentage. You get a lower bowl in every stadium and a certain number of tickets in every stadium. So that's the gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
Apparently you guys did not have that in the Big 12.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Texas has been moving their seating pretty regularly because the band couldn't be heard when they were facing due south. The sides couldn't hear the band, and there was an echo coming off the scoreboard, so they moved the band, and it keeps changing the seating for the visiting teams.
You know how I would respond to that? You need a better band.
Yeah, or mics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the sound system, they're finally getting it figured out at Texas. They finally put in the LED lights that Bryant Denny has. So they're getting there, but I think Texas fans are just going to be happy to be in the building. I was talking to some of your staff outside, Taylor and Emily and Kelsey, and they were saying they're hearing that maybe 100,000 people will just be outside the stadium without tickets.
I always hear those estimates. I never know how those estimates turn out, but anytime there's been like a big Bama LSU game or a big Iron Bowl at Jordan Hare or at Bryant Denny, you hear that. It's like, there'll be as many people outside as inside. I never know how that turns out because I never go. I stay home. I don't fight that crowd. I stay home and watch it.
But it's game day ops, and in Saban's time in Tuscaloosa, even more than a few Iron Bowls, maybe 2010 was different, but Game of the Century 2011 Alabama LSU, I think the projection was 120,000 people in the area without tickets. So more people outside than inside. I think that number was a little lower than that in 2019, Alabama LSU, but more congested because of President Trump's visit that day. And then this year, I don't think it's quite to 100, but I think they're expecting around 50,000 people outside the stadium without tickets, just to tailgate and experience everything that goes with that.
Well, what do you all, before I leave, what do you all think about tomorrow's game and what will kind of be the keys?
I was talking to somebody else on my way into work today that works in this medium and covers another part of the SEC footprint, and he said he thought Bama by 10 to 14. That feels a little heavy to me. I think this is so easy to say. I think Vegas has this kind of right, a touchdown. I think it'll be within a touchdown. I think special teams are big. You mentioned the two kickers in the commercial, and they're both really good.
Yeah.
Reichert is fantastic. Auburn is really good. I think he was 3 or 4 against Rice. Made most of his kicks last year.
Missed a 56-yarder short.
I'll forgive him for that one. So I think that'll be a huge key in this game. It was last year. Special teams was massive in this game last year. So I think Bama inside the 7. I think Texas will cover. Alabama wins.
It is my belief that you will see more of a Jalen Milroe designed run package than you did last week, and I think Alabama will try to play this. I don't know what the mybookie.ag total is, Brown, for the score in the game. But
it was 54.5.
No matter what it is,
around.
No matter what it is, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a 24-23. I think it's an either way game. It could be another last-minute field goal.
Yeah.
Because I think the Texas defense is legit. They'll spy Milroe.
Yep.
Don't be surprised if it's the freshman Anthony Hill who barely played last week. He's a really lightning fast guy, but they got other guys to spy him. I think the Texas defense will keep this game close and low scoring. And Alabama's defense, obviously, even with the possibility of a couple players, banged up or limited.
Yeah.
Watch
32. Alabama.
Deontay Lawson, player.
Alabama's next great linebacker.
Yeah, he's a player. He's really good.
Okay.
First of all, two things. Number one, the total at mybookie.ag right now at 54. Alabama's still holding as a 7-point favorite. Some people are saying in the chat room they've seen it at 7.5 in other places, so it ticked up a little bit.
And that over-under's coming down.
That total's coming down, yeah. 54 is where it sits right now. The other thing I was going to mention is completely slipped my mind right now, Jim.
That's okay.
It comes with old age,
well,
doesn't it?
It's big game weekends.
It
always
is big game
happens.
weekend. I had two things.
Listen,
the other
Barry Switzer always told me in games like this, the team with the best quarterback wins.
Oh yeah, and you
Let's
think that too?
I think
know.
if Milroe, if what Milroe did last week, if he's that big game, hunter.
And it's personal for him. He's from Texas.
Right.
Right.
He was committed to Texas and decommitted because Quinn Ewers committed.
Right.
So it's interesting how all that cycles back too. But
Jace McClellan, big running back.
Jace McClellan,
Texas kid too.
Had the big touchdown against Texas last year. So that's what I want to see. If Milroe's a big game hunter like he showed last week, then it's going to be tough for Texas.
It'd be pretty interesting if it's Friendly Fire that beats Texas tomorrow. A couple of Texas kids have big games running the football. That would be, I guess, a shot at the folks who were there before Sark that didn't.
The Herman staff?
That didn't bring them into Austin.
Right. And Keelan Robinson, former Crimson Tide,
were you guys covering him up last week? I mean, he didn't get a lot of touches down the depth chart. You think he'll be a bigger
Sark
part?
didn't show anything last week. He wasn't using his motions. He wasn't using anything.
Yeah.
He would eat no bunch routes, no.
Most vanilla offense you can find. Yeah.
He'll unload it all tomorrow.
Yeah, rice was a side dish last week. The entrees this week.
That's
over there.
Quickly, I remember what I was going to say. He mentioned the spy. If you want a good breakdown on what a spy does for a defense, how it affects the defense, Tom Luganbill did that on Ball this week. I asked him specifically if they spy Jalen Milroe, how does that affect Texas defense? And he gave a good breakdown on that.
You get that at Disrupt the Media, our YouTube channel there, Disrupt the Media. Go there, like and subscribe, and you get Ball right there in the main feed at Disrupt the Media. Part of our show being brought to you by our friends at Odie's today. Trivia on Wednesday, live music on Friday nights.
Odie's Tavern, Crestline Village is a Birmingham institution. Trivia starts every single Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. It is award-winning. You can win prizes there, but it's also a great place to watch all the games this weekend. Get Rodney's famous cheeseburger, Diablo sandwich, Mountain Brook, and Homewood now. Odie's Tavern, a Birmingham institution.
Okay, our Hemp Hill picking the games. Just give me how you think these 5-6 games play out nationally, Chip. Just real quick answers here. Nebraska, Colorado. Deion's so big in Texas with his prime academy growing up. Were you surprised the way that played last week? What do you expect this week?
I never doubt Deion Sanders. Never doubt him. Covered him when he played for the Cowboys. Guy can do anything.
So you're going Colorado?
I'll take Colorado to cover.
Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M, Mario Cristobal, Miami. Both of them need this win bad.
A&M. Connor Wegman. I am on the Connor Wegman train.
Yeah, he looked good, didn't he?
A program you're familiar with, Oklahoma, looked really good last week. Here comes SMU, who looked really good too with Rhett Lashley. How does that one play out?
I'll take the Sooners. I'm not quite sure what we have in Preston Stone. Tanner Mordecai left and went to Wisconsin. That bummed me out a little bit. I went to SMU. I'll take the Sooners.
Another big Texas game in Lubbock, Oregon, and Texas Tech. Bo Nix, Heisman. Texas Tech got upset. Some people think they were looking ahead.
Yeah, why weren't they letting Tyler Shuck throw the football in the second half of that Wyoming game?
It's like they completely shut it down. Thought they had it won. Yeah, it was weird.
Bizarre. I think Tech covers.
All right.
Whatever that line is.
Some big games involving teams from the state of Texas, but Chip is here for the biggest one, Texas and Alabama. Man, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Todd Furman coming up in the next segment. Our show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. If it's not running right, flowing right, or draining right, or even flushing right, use our friends at Hemp Hill for all your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs. Trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954. 62 degrees when we left the house today. 62 degrees. That means you're going to need the heat eventually. Go ahead and get it checked out with our friends at Hemp Hill. 205-229-2090. 229-2090. This is the next round.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter @ScottForresterTV. DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hour 2, Todd Furman in just a second. If you missed it yesterday, the ruling came out from the NCAA, and it may have been the lowest point in NCAA history. Tez Walker will miss the entire season at North Carolina, denied his eligibility immediately. Mac Brown, the UNC athletic director, the chancellor of the University of North Carolina, Mac said, "I have never, ever been more disappointed in a group of people than I am in this decision by the NCAA."
Wow.
And I will tell you, UNC, they have a lot of power brokers in college athletics.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of money. And this was a bad day for the NCAA. It will not surprise me if that is just another stone stacking up. It's going to break the NCAA. You get those guys, and they're big academic people there at UNC. And, you know, those type of people have been clinging to the NCAA because of the academic side of it all. You get those people on the hey, let's leave.
Oh,
the
I know.
NCAA.
That's what I've always said.
It's a bad day for the NCAA on that ruling there. And That one surprised me a little bit. Our friends at the Pants Store, as you get ready to go to the stadiums this weekend, Alabama and Auburn game day polos, hats, and quarter zips are there. Choose from famous names like Gentile, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, and Taylor and Mick. And ladies, look no further for your game day needs. They have the skirts, the rompers, the clear bags, and the booties. Find any of your game day needs at pantstore.com, anywhere in the country, pantstore.com, or any of the 6 locations in the store: Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa.
All right, Todd Furman with us now, bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com, at Todd Furman on Twitter, who made the boldest prediction of week 1 last week, Florida State by double digits. He was correct. We'll get his bold prediction at the end of this interview, too. What's up, Furman?
Oh, what's going on, gentlemen? And yes, Florida State looked a part of a legitimate national championship contender last weekend. Didn't think they'd come out and stub their toe the way they did in the first half, but all is not lost for LSU. I just think that was a really good Florida State team, and LSU can go back to the drawing board before they play Mississippi State about 10 days from now.
Quickly, before we do college, we'll get some NFL later. I do want to go back to last night because it is rare that a player that is not a quarterback moves the line. It appeared Kelsey did that. Did he move the line in his absence? And if he didn't, boy, he should have, because they are very average, if not bad, at receiver without him.
Combination of factors there. I think obviously Travis Kelce getting injured on Tuesday really changed the dynamic of that handicap. But it was also the fact that Chris Jones's potential absence hadn't been built into the number. Obviously, speculation throughout camp that they were going to get something done and he would be out there at least in a limited capacity. When you have those two injuries, arguably the two most impactful players on that roster, not named Patrick Mahomes, the market was going to respond. And what you saw yesterday is that price dip as low as 3.5. That's a prominent book stateside. And those folks that backed the Lions, they were obviously able to get to the window with a winning ticket. Professional bettors, though, they got out ahead of it. They were taking the 6.5, 7 that was available before Kelsey's information became public. And lo and behold, you guys saw what I think all of us anticipated. That Kansas City receiving corps has a long way to go. And Kadarius Toney deactivating social media today probably illustrates things exactly why his Kansas City struggled as much as they did in the opener.
He tried to do it last night, but he dropped the phone. He had to do it this morning when he had to pick the phone back. It's a joke about drop passes.
Week 2 of college football, and it's a great slate. I'm interested, how much do you look at history of a player against a certain coordinator or defense? Sam Hartman, Notre Dame, has 6 interceptions against Tony Gibson's defense at NC State. Do you factor that kind of stuff in a game like Notre Dame, NC State, 11 o'clock ABC?
You want to look at all the elements that go into an individual handicap, but I do think in this particular case it's important to know that Wake Forest's offensive line and the slow mesh concepts they employed with Sam Hartman as their quarterback, significantly different than the protection that Sam Hartman is going to have this week for Notre Dame. In that spot, you mentioned the 6 interceptions over the last 2 games. I mean, he dealt with a ton of pressure in last year's game, was sacked 4 times and pressured 30 dropbacks for Wake Forest. Notre Dame going to try and establish the ground game with Audric Estime. Clearly, they took care of 2 inferior foes in Navy and Tennessee State early. This will be a bigger test. But I think on the other side, I'm not sure that NC State has the playmakers at either running back or receiver to really go after a Notre Dame defense that I think can be beaten by speed and athletes. You look at the number here, though, definitely right where it needs to be, kind of in that no man's land north of a touchdown. What's been fascinating to watch in the betting market is the two-way action we've seen on the total. This number opened as low as 48.5, got up to 52. There was a little bit of resistance, and I think it's a lot of pushing and pulling, trying to figure out which Notre Dame team is going to be for real on the offensive and or defensive side of the ball.
We were just talking Texas, Alabama. Chip Brown was in studio with us. Obviously, the big game over in Tuscaloosa this weekend. We mentioned the total is at 54. I want your opinion on all of this, but someone in the chat room was saying they thought they remember the total opening at 64 or 65, and it's down 10 full points. Is that accurate, and what are your thoughts on Bama, Texas?
It is not actually accurate, unfortunately. The total opened 52.5 at some books out here in the desert, 56.5 offshore, and it's kind of been in that range. I have not seen a number as high as 65. Had I done it, I would have been running to the window to try and bet the game under the total at that particular price tag. This game, for me, is very fascinating. Obviously, that we know about the national implications it'll have in terms of the narrative for both these teams, but in terms of the injuries that both teams are dealing with. I know Nick Saban is optimistic that they're going to have Malachi Moore out there and Jaden Key as well in the defensive backfield. I think those two pieces are extremely important if they can take on a full snap share, knowing what Xavier Worthy, Jatavian Sanders, and A.D. Mitchell bring in the Texas vertical passing game. But I think what's been lost a little bit in some of the handicap is some of the injury issues that Texas has dealing with as well along their offensive line that really looked unsettled in the first half against Rice. They were just able to overwhelm the Owls in the second half. And if that's a problem, Alabama's defensive front should be able to get to Quinn Ewers and force him into mistakes. But I really think, guys, when I look at this, both of these defenses are significantly ahead of their offensive counterparts. I know Jalen Milroe, from a stats perspective, looked good against Middle Tennessee State, but it's a lot of one-read offenses, and I just don't see some of the playmakers on this Alabama roster in their backfield or the receiver room that we've grown accustomed to in the past. I lean Texas here plus the points, but I do like the game under the total, assuming that Alabama upgrades both of those key pieces of their secondary.
Well, usually you just get props on Super Bowls and things like that. I assume there's no prop that the Texas quarterback makes it out of the first quarter or finishes the game, right? Because the last two meetings it's not happened for Texas, and it's been a big factor in the game.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. You go back to the national championship game where Colt McCoy got hurt, how differently that game could have unfolded. And, of course, last year, Quinn Ewers getting off to the fast start before he leaves with a shoulder injury as well. So if Texas is smart, maybe they don't even let their quarterback drop back to throw in the first two offensive series. They try and get through the first 15 minutes unscathed at that position and hope that their ground game is able to take things over. But I think this game, going to tell us an awful lot about these two teams, not telling you guys anything you don't already know. But it's also which coach wants to be flexible and make some of those adjustments. Because when you look at Alabama, we know that undisciplined football did them in some of their biggest games last year, but it was also an unwillingness to change from man-to-man coverage when they were consistently beaten deep and over the top. If they went to some zone concepts here, I think it would really create issues for Quinn Ewers, who hasn't looked comfortable when faced with a little bit of pressure and having to diagnose defenses. If I'm Alabama, I'm looking at that TCU footage where Quinn Ewers looked like a deer in headlights last year, and that would be the game plan I'd be looking to emulate with superior athletes.
Everyone, including you, Furman, makes fun of my gambling prowess all the time, right? And I'm gonna ask you a stupid question here. It seems so easy to me that Texas Tech loses at Wyoming, and here comes Oregon, and that Baylor loses to Texas State, and here comes Utah. Why do I not put my life savings, my 401k, and the rest of my son and daughter's college fund on Oregon and on Utah?
A couple different dynamics in play, and we can start with the Baylor-Utah game. That'll be an early kickoff. Game time temperatures expected to be in the triple digits, so not exactly something that Utah is familiar with by any stretch of the imagination. The big injury storyline here is no Blake Shapen for Baylor, going to be sidelined for a couple weeks dealing with an MCL. And while Utah cleared Cam Rising earlier this week, I've been told not to expect him back until Pac-12 play starts, and maybe not even for that UCLA conference opener. We'll see exactly what Utah does with that particular game plan. But I think what's always difficult when you look at a game like we saw Utah play in a standalone spot last week against Florida, they knew for a full month that Cam Rising wasn't going to be their starting quarterback when the Gators came calling. So it allowed them to develop a game plan around Bryson Barnes and Nate Johnson that Florida really couldn't prepare for. You saw that on the first play of the game, and Utah was able to play downhill. Now you have a little bit more tape. You have a Baylor team that was embarrassed, losing outright as a 4-touchdown favorite against Texas State, and they're going to the backup quarterback in their own right that's a little bit more athletic, not going to be as dynamic a passer. And so I think when you dig into that game, the one thing that stood out to me is that Utah's defense wasn't nearly as impressive, slowing down Graham Mertz and a Florida team that all of us believe is a little bit light in difference makers. This is a big, big number, especially over a touchdown, and as the price continues to leak out, it's dog or pass for me in this spot in Waco with that sleepy 11 o'clock kickoff. As far as what we're going to see in Lubbock, look, Oregon went out there, looked the part, scoring 80-plus points on Portland State. Dan Lanning didn't mince words and say schedule is going to get a little bit more difficult here. I think Texas Tech, they became a prisoner of the moment, built an early 17-0 lead. It looked like they lost focus in Laramie, didn't score again until the game-tying field goal at the end of regulation. Tyler Shuck, a little bit of revenge. Tim DeRuyter lost his job when Dan Lanning took over in Eugene. There's a lot of familiarity between the coaching staff and some of the players on Tech matched up against Oregon. And this is a game, guys, that would have been closer to a field goal last week, so you have a chance to buy stock at the bottom of the market here. I like Texas Tech, but won't be involved unless the game happens to flicker to 7. But buyer beware laying the points thinking it's free money with Oregon.
Todd Furman, BetTheBoardPodcast.com. At Todd Furman on Twitter is where you find him. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. He's currently on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He'll cover all the games, college and NFL, all the games of interest at BetTheBoardPodcast.com. We just get a quick sample from him here. Part of that sample, Auburn is at Cal. A 6.5-point favorite, the Tigers, and a total at 54.5. We've had several people this week say Cal's a tough place to play because it is like a library sometimes. It's not because the crowd's loud, it's because they're not there.
Well, I mean, look, you go up to Berkeley, and the students on campus are known to spend a lot more time in libraries than they have at a lot of the sporting venues, given what the athletic program has become. This game is interesting because Auburn, of course, goes out there in their opener and does exactly what you'd want them to do. They took advantage of a team that couldn't slow them down offensively in space and put up some crooked numbers. Meanwhile, Cal goes on the road in a little bit of a tricky spot to Denton, Texas, and looks completely different offensively with a backup quarterback in Ben Finley, who stepped in for Sam Jackson, who was injured early in that contest. But I think when you look at Cal and the fact that they scored 50-plus points, a lot of those were blown tackles from North Texas, a lot of players that were out of position as the Mean Green are going through a little bit of a change in scheme in their own right. The one thing that does concern me, though, this is such an unusual spot for teams from the SEC playing the late-night kickoff. Body clocks are going to feel like it's 9:30, so you wonder how the kids will adjust. If this number, again, got to 7, I could see making a case for Cal as a home underdog. I think Auburn fans are going to be on their edge of their seat from start to finish. I'm not sure Auburn is there just yet, that they should be laying a full score when they go out on the road to unfamiliar territory. So I could see this being a field goal game in the waning moments here. I lean toward Cal. Have not bet the game myself, but am fascinated to see how this total moves, because given what we saw last week, we could have two high-powered offenses have a little bit of success against their defensive counterparts.
Furman, I stopped at the neighborhood convenience store, as I do every morning, to get my Diet Coke on the way to work. And I was stopped by one of the people that's in there, and he says, do you feel like Vegas is trying to get every dollar on Colorado they can get? There is that perception out there that Colorado minus 2.5, that the people in Vegas will take every single dime on Colorado minus 2.5 you're willing to give them. That is a perception. Do you believe it to be true?
This is a full illustration of what we'll call a pros versus Joes game here. And I'm not saying that odds makers know who's going to win this game. If they did, it would make my job and their jobs that much easier here. But what we've seen is two teams on opposite ends of the spectrum. Nebraska against Minnesota on that Thursday night opening night contest comes up a bit short. They blow a late lead, which is something that's been synonymous with Nebraska football. But lost in that game is that was still a Nebraska team that went on the road as a 7.5-point underdog and had a chance to win outright, just didn't look athletic in doing so. Meanwhile, Colorado captivated the attention of the entire college football world, went down to Fort Worth, win a game outright as nearly a 3-touchdown underdog. So what you see here is a flip in perception. But keep in mind, if this was a Week 1 matchup, Nebraska would have opened up right around a 7 to a 7.5-point favorite at Folsom Field. So a little bit of a different dynamic. This game actually opened as high as Colorado -5. Professional bettors said that was a little bit too steep. And what you're seeing now is a real battle around that key number at 3. I've been involved in a lot of these games in the past, and for me, from a betting perspective and a value side, it's Nebraska or pass. But I'm not sure the betting market is necessarily caught up to Colorado just yet, because they started with such a low baseline. This game is going to tell us a heck of a lot more about the Colorado Buffaloes, how they handle prosperity. And quite frankly, guys, if Colorado goes out there and beats Nebraska convincingly or even wins the game by a touchdown, I'd be much more inclined to fade them next week in an in-state matchup against Colorado State before they play two of the Pac-12 heavyweights in back-to-back weeks, more so than looking to get a pound of flesh against Dion and company this Saturday.
Furman, a couple more college games for me involving coaches that are loved by some, hated by most. Let's do Lane Kiffin first. Ole Miss-Tulane down in New Orleans. The small stadium completely sold out. Michael Pratt's really good. It seemed like they kept Quinshon Judkins at Ole Miss on the shelf a little bit, saving him for this week. How does this one play out in the Big Easy?
You mentioned what we saw last week with Ole Miss, and they clearly didn't have to empty the chamber in terms of creative play calling or anything along those lines. You blinked, and they had 28 points up on the board against Mercer en route to a 70-point outburst. Lane Kiffin has the attention of his team. He knows this road trip won't be easy by any stretch of the imagination. You mentioned Michael Pratt and what he was able to do. 14 of 15 for nearly 300 yards last week against South Alabama. but looked extremely banged up late in that contest. You could see him on the bike dealing with what appeared to be a banged-up knee. He is the ultimate gamer. I'm not saying he won't be out there fighting in full capacity this weekend, but if he takes a hit or two early, will he be as likely to leave the pocket and extend plays with his legs? I look at this Tulane team defensively, and when you lose a difference maker like Dorian Williams, even with a coach as talented as Willie Fritz, knowing the breakneck pace we're going to see from the Rebels, I think that's a real problem here. And while typically you guys know I would do everything I could to gravitate towards a group of 5, home underdog in this spot and an electric environment, I actually like the favorite here. I think this number is 7 for a reason. It opened at 4, but has been bet up. I just think Ole Miss has too many playmakers, and defensively, I don't worry about Ole Miss being able to match up with some of the skill position talents for Tulane. This is a Green Wave team that's really going to miss the physical running style of Tajay Spears until a heir apparent truly emerges.
Quinshon over 200 total yards, and that one's my projection.
Oh, wow.
I
That's
think
a big game.
I think they kept a bubble wrap on him last week for a reason. One more, Texas A&M Miami. Some people want this to be a loser leaves town kind of game. This is going to be, to me, a big battle of can Miami run the ball on Texas A&M's defense. How do you see this big one down in South Florida?
I mean, look, that was the weakness last year for this Aggies defense. They were soft in the interior, and it's something that's inexplicable when you have the amount of 4- and 5-star recruits they do along their defensive line. Texas A&M, again, dominant performance, at least on the scoreboard in their season-opening win against New Mexico. But the reality of it is, when you're struggling to protect Connor Wegman in that spot, you're talking about keeping a tight end in, and they're worried about the interior of the line. That's not something that's going to translate against the Miami defensive front that does have some athletes in and of their own right. I look at the Hurricane receiving room, and that's where the biggest question for me comes. I'm not sure there's an elite talent on the outside, even with Xavier Restrepo and a couple of the other pieces they have. But if Miami's able to use their deep stable of backs, establish the run, set up some play action opportunities for Tyler Van Dyke, I think Miami is a very live home underdog. They were the better team last year when these two teams played, plus 11 in first downs, nearly a 130-yard advantage. They just bogged down in the red zone. They're doing everything they can to get bodies in the seats here in Miami Gardens for this game, going so far as giving out 2-for-1 tickets at the grocery stores. I'm not sure that's going to create the home field advantage Miami's looking for, but I do think the Canes are more than capable as a home underdog here. I lean towards them plus the points.
Some guy named Jay Dunaway over in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room says, is this the smartest Jim has ever sounded in one of your segments?
It's low bar.
I mean, look, when we're talking about remedial level college football betting acumen, we're starting slow and we're going to gradually build up this infamous Jay Dunaway that you talk about. But given the fact he was able to recognize the potential pitfalls in backing two teams on the road against downtrodden programs, or at least what we saw last week, hopefully I was able to talk him off the ledge from mortgaging his future and that of his children backing road favorites in the form of Utah and Oregon this coming Saturday.
All right, he is Todd Furman. If you go to bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com, he covers all those games and much, much more. He and Payne Insider do a great job with that. You can go download it everywhere you get your podcast and listen to bettheboardpodcast.com and follow Furman on Twitter at Todd Furman. I mentioned it last night. He's the one that sent out the tweet. Week 1, divisional games, home underdog. The home underdog is 13-2-1. Is that the number? Yeah, 13-2-1.
I thought it was 16-2-1.
16-2-1. Yeah, that's it. 16-2-1, something like that. So Furman gives you nuggets like that. There are 4 of those games this weekend. So go to Bet the Board Podcast to see how Furman feels about those. Furman, thank you for the time. Have a good weekend.
You got it, guys. Hey, one last thing. Since you need me to give you a bold prediction,
I forgot.
It won't come in college. I'll give you one in the NFL. It's not bold from a point spread perspective. But one of you, I believe, will be very happy when the Baker Mayfield era starts in earnest. I'll call for the Bucs to win outright on the road at Minnesota on Sunday.
Ready to smoke. Ready to bake. Ready to bake.
When he said one of you will be happy, I thought he was going to go Dolphins. Okay. Thank you, Furman. You made Dunaway happy, not me so much. But have a great weekend anyway. I still love you.
You got it, gentlemen. Love you as well, and enjoy the big game right there in Tuscaloosa this weekend between Alabama and Texas.
All right, buddy. Take care. Furman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He gave you a bold prediction last week. Florida State by double digits. He just gave you one. Buccaneers went outright in Minnesota. You can play those games and much more at mybookie.ag. Code next round. When you sign up at mybookie.ag, code next round. That will get you that sign-on bonus. It's up to $200 on any deposit of $50 or more. They've got the cash out there. If you don't like the way the game's heading, they've got some cash out options, even on parlays. Play a 3-team parlay, first 2 legs in the house. Leg 3 feels shaky in your mind. You could cash out on that and use that elsewhere. But use code NEXTROUND when you sign up at mybookie.ag to get that sign-up bonus. Great weekend to get it going with both the college and the NFL. Mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
All right, so interesting thing. Baker Mayfield, what a great 30 for 30 is going to be the comeback story. It's going to be really good. Baker Mayfield, nobody wanted him. He ends up following the GOAT in Tampa, and all of a sudden they're a playoff team. Wow, what a story that'll be.
I'm trying to think of the name. What if I told you Baker Mayfield wasn't done playing?
Yeah, what if I told you that the Baker,
the butcher.
Just stop talking. What?
The Baker, the butcher, the candlestick baker.
What if
ESPN 30 for 30.
What if I told you the Baker had more ingredients left on the shelf?
Wow. Baker championship maker.
Or. It's just called Yes Chef.
yes, Chef.
Yes, Chef.
Or Heard.
Thank you, Chef.
All right, let's. Do we have the wedding last night? The strangest wedding place I've ever seen in the middle of a freaking game. Before you tell me about Bromberg's, where you can get a great wedding.
Should have gone there.
A great wedding ring. This isn't Pop the Question at Wrigley Field last night. In the bleachers, they're doing the freaking ceremony while the game is going on in the field. I think the guy in the hat right behind him was not part of the wedding party. I think he's trying to see the action.
Good job, move.
Yeah, I don't think he's giving away the bride. I think he's wanting to see his Cubbies try to win here. Guys, can y'all sit down? Is that a priest? Can you get the priest to sit down?
Wow.
Wedding last night at Wrigley Field in the bleachers. I assume they met in the bleachers and wanted to get married there.
Well, congrats to them. I listen, for the wife to go along with it. Normally she would fight. Wife would not want her great day to be at Wrigley. But to make her man's day like that, fantastic. Yeah. Now, I am assuming the man wanted to get married there, not the wife. That's a stereotypical assumption by me. I could be wrong. Maybe the dude wanted a church wedding.
And I'm sure the dad probably said, as long as you're not marrying a Sox fan, I'm okay with it.
Oh, the dad's in it for the price of tickets. He's all right. Yeah. He didn't have to do the full wedding cost.
The Brombergs can get you the ring where you can get married anywhere.
Family owned and operated since 1836.
Discount Daniel over there. Did they consummate it in the bullpen?
Wow. That is a very personal question.
We got
warming up now in the Cubs bullpen.
Rockstar's got it.
What'd you say?
I said we got to first base.
Family owned and operated since 1836. Bromberg's established a solid reputation as a fine purveyor of quality diamonds and jewelry, timepieces, and gifts. See why for yourself in their 2 great Birmingham locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit, or always online, brombergs.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery 5th Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, War Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
The next round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Super Speedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Back with you on the next round. Rockstar's viewing menu coming up in a little bit. Our friends at the University of Montevallo, if you're thinking about a place for your son or daughter to go to school, why not a beautiful campus right here in the heart of Alabama with 23 fully funded NCAA Division II sports, including lacrosse, big lacrosse family in here. It's a wonderful athletic and academic school, great tuition point and a lot more. Montevallo.edu, Montevallo.edu. Check them out online. Schedule an in-person tour. Southern Living calls it one of the best campuses in the South. Beautiful, beautiful. Great tuition point. I said as a parent, I love the price, the education you get for that price point. Montevallo.edu. Montevallo.edu. Brown had 1 point he wanted to make from the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room.
Yeah, 2 quick things. J.A. asked who are the 4 divisional home dogs that he was talking about. Indianapolis is a divisional dog in their opener against Jacksonville. Cleveland is a dog in their opener against Cincinnati. The Giants are a dog in their opener against the Cowboys. And the Jets are a dog Monday night in their opener against the Bills. So if you missed the stat, week 1, divisional teams that are home dogs in division games, they're home dogs, and that's the case in all those. Against the spread, they are 16-2-1 over the last 19. So it is a trend that you would want to jump on board with there if you're that type of person that wants to make that play at mybookie.ag. I found this one interesting. Also, oh, gosh, I lost it. Don't know why I was going to read it to you. I thought it was kind of a funny. Oh, here it is. Chase P. I had to swap my modem out at Spectrum yesterday, and it was an absolute war zone in there with the older people coming in person to bitch and cancel their service.
I can only imagine.
I can't imagine working for Spectrum front-facing right now, having to answer the phone or deal with the customers.
That would be tough. It's a good week for UAB as they hit the road. Here's Trent Dilfer for our friends at Legacy.
Financial success isn't about a Hail Mary pass. It's about making smart and calculated decisions every day.
Yeah, and that's all right. Trent Dilfer for Legacy there. When you invest your hard-earned dollars in a local credit union, you're directly impacting the growth and success within your own community. No matter what reason or what season of life you are in, Legacy Credit Union can help you make the most of your money. Savings, high-rate CDs, checking that earns interest, and a lot more. Look no further than our friends at Legacy. Open your account in minutes at LegacyCreditUnion.com. Legacy, the official credit union of UAB and proud sponsor of UAB football, federally insured by the NCUA. We got some guests in studio that we met up in Ocean City on our trip up there. Big Bama fans who are on their way to the big. You know it's a big game when you got Game Day, when you've got SEC Nation, when you have McAfee, when you have Barstool, and when you have these folks in from Baltimore.
That's right, flying in from Baltimore. Got in late last night. They had a little Atlanta issue like I did last time I flew through Atlanta. So they finally made it in, so it's good to have them in studio.
Sean and Bryn in studio with us. And Bryn, big lacrosse player, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she says. Yeah.
So my first chance since meeting you to see Greg Byrne, the Alabama athletic director, is tomorrow in the press box, and I'm going to make a point. Women's lacrosse, we need that in the SEC. We need that in the SEC to get one in Tuscaloosa. New Life Art brings us Rockstar's viewing menu every day. Tell us about New Life, Brown. It's this second part of 30 years of tradition right here. It's the Daniel A. Moore, newlifeart.com painting of the month right there. New Life Art, Daniel A. Moore, all of his works there. And that brings us our viewing menu every day. Check them out online, Rockstar.
There's three of us in here right now doing the show. Between the three of us, how many combined episodes of Star Trek in any form have you watched?
You know, I remember, it's such a weird memory, Rockstar, but I remember as a kid, McDonald's Happy Meal had a Star Trek toy in it, and as a kid, it made me want to watch Star Trek. Now, I can't remember anything about it.
That did not answer my question.
Well,
I can't remember movies. I think I've seen a movie or two. How many episodes?
This was the actual television show.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was the Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner show. Okay. I can't tell you, but I did watch some of it.
Okay.
I would get off the school bus, right, and there was a series of shows that were usually Gilligan's Island or Brady Bunch.
The Monkees?
No, the Partridge Family was on. I mean, some of those type shows when I would get off the bus, and then it changed every now and then they would change programming, and there was one, I think it was 5th grade, where all those type shows, those little 30-minute sitcoms that I could watch and enjoy, they were not on, and it was Star Trek when I would get off the bus. And this was before cable. I'm old, so you only had 4 channels. And it was whatever was on, and then soap operas were on every other channel except for this channel. And so for that whole semester, until they changed their programming back to Brady Bunch or those things, I had to sit there and eat oatmeal cookies and drink milk and watch Star Trek. I thought it was miserable.
Well, there's a new series coming out on 7 p.m. on CBS, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, Episode 1. Captain Pike returns from his self-imposed seclusion to save an officer who has gone missing, followed by Episode 2. We got a 2 for tonight. And then, I got the cookie lady now. Laurel's here. So 10 p.m. on AMC, 101 scariest horror movements. Come on, Sean. 101 scariest horror movie moments of all time.
Oh. Well, it's not even the month of Halloween yet.
But they start this so early now.
Do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
She's.
Yeah.
Halloween starts in July.
Yeah,
and then
for them.
finally, I love my boy Tyler because he has suggestions on here. Sunday on Max, Fooly Cooley, Grunge. Finally, the return of the critically acclaimed surrealist anime series.
Oh,
Fooly Cooley Grunge.
Yes.
Yeah. Tyler's a different. I'm old, and then there's the normal generation that I've worked with for years, you and LT and Rockstar. And then we added this new crew that goes all the way down now to the 22-year-old that just graduated, e.g. Employee 13. Tyler had a T-shirt on. At one point this week, I was going to the bathroom, and I said, "It's a long walk to the bathroom, Tyler. Explain to me what the hell's on your T-shirt." And it was a store address in Seoul, North Korea for something. Right?
South Korea. Come on.
South Korea, yes.
Get it right.
South Korea, my bad. But I was like, the store address is on the back of his shirt with a very cool drawing. And apparently they're very popular shirts.
Okay.
But it was basically a street address on there. And I was like, why are you wearing this?
Can I reword what you just said? I got home last night from Bud Light game night, and Jennifer said, how'd the show go? I was good. And she goes, well, Lance is gone. Who did it? I said, first of all, she didn't watch. I said, me, Jim, Taylor, and EG. And Lance was on video. And she was like, oh, good. You got EG on. I was like, yeah. And little T, both of them. She was like, how does it feel to have 2 employees that are your daughter's age, basically? Yeah. I was like, yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
They literally are my daughter's age.
It did not really register with me in that way until you yourself pointed it out.
All right. Today.
but thank you.
That's why Rockstar is watching. Thank you to our friends at New Life, newlifeart.com. All right. As we get ready for this weekend of college football, we do a thing every Friday. It's called Monday Headlines Today. It's our spotlight, and our spotlight today being brought to you by our friends right there at johnstonrvcenter.com. Tell us about Johnston RV before he hits the big button.
I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator is where you find Johnston RV Center. And Cherokee is the number one selling brand in all of America. It's the number one selling brand in Alabama. And guess what? JohnstonRVCenter.com. They're the number one selling dealer for Cherokee brand in the entire state of Alabama. You could get yours at Johnston RV Center starting as low as $199 a month. As low as $199 a month. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, and always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
The College Football Spotlight.
Like the game's already been played. Monday's headlines today.
All right, Rockstar, who's going to go first?
You
pick
you got yours in, all right.
I actually got one, yeah. Taylor helped me out.
Can I spin the wheel? Oh.
We don't have the wheel anymore.
We don't have the wheel. It got stolen.
Oh, I'll go first.
Okay, Rockstar's first today. Pull up your headline, Rocky.
There's not much going on. This is a weak one with me, but, Tennessee's got a big game this weekend.
The Vols?
Yeah.
Who does Tennessee play, Rockstar?
They play Austin Peay.
Austin Peay.
Tennessee and Austin Peay. What could the headline be? Oh, wow.
UT almost volunteers to be.
Pump up the volume.
Pump up the volume. UT almost volunteers to be peed on.
They almost lose the game, guys. I think they win by 22.
I like the animation, Rockstar. We didn't go with an actual photo. We went with an animation.
Great Calvin Hobbs.
Right, very good.
That's the old Bluetooth number one there, hands free.
He's got to hold his cane.
Yep.
I don't want to lean.
You can't lose a game.
We'll do mine next because mine's not good either. I mean, not that yours is not good, Rockstar.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
No. Rockstar said it was.
Yeah, but mine's not good either.
Yeah.
This is from the Dunaway Digest. M&M's don't melt in Horn's hands. McClellan and Milroe run deep into the heart of Texas. Big running game.
Wow.
M&M's don't melt in Horn's hands.
My favorite part when you do this is you always double read the headline.
M&M. I'm going to read it slower for you idiots.
McClellan and Milroe run deep into the heart of Texas.
Yeah, very good, Jim. I like that.
The rising water and overflow water
I saw
down
that
there.
Too. Did you do an entire? I don't have time to read this. Did you do an entire article?
I just assumed that Taylor didn't get. She has a lot on her plate. I don't think she made it past the headline.
Oh wow!
I think that's part of the template.
Jim pulling back the curtain.
Well, the damn segment's not called content of the article.
It is. That's right. It's called
just about the headlines.
Yeah. All right. You ready for mine?
We are Brown. At this point, it has an attempt to be gold.
Mine is coming from the Nebraska-Colorado game. Corn Pub. Cornhuskers ready for prime time, and get all the headlines this week.
Corn Pub.
Yeah, a little play on words there. Also, some visitors in the studio. Didn't know we were going to do.
Yes.
We were going to do it that segment.
It's a very popular website.
No, I don't know anything about that.
I just now got it. You had to explain it to me.
Yeah, I know.
Cornhuskers are ready for prime time, and we'll get all the headlines.
Corn Pub
this week.
Yeah, they're getting the headlines. They're getting all the pub. Also, some alternate headlines there. Nick Saban apologizes to reporter. Fox's Tim Brando claims it's actually a Saban clone.
Yeah, because Saban
bullies
never
the media.
apologizes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also on page 3, a Kansas City receiver visited Children's Hospital and dropped a kid.
Yeah,
it's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
You do not want Kadarius Toney baptizing your baby at church on Sunday.
You do not.
Yeah, that is our Monday headlines today, brought to you by our great friends at JohnstonRVCenter.com. JohnstonRVCenter.com. It is a big game weekend all over the place. That includes Auburn at Cal. A lot of Auburn folks in the airport today making their trip out there. Rockstar, if you can give me cut number 4. Cal quarterback Sam Jackson. Did you know this? Played high school football with Auburn's Peyton Thorne.
You know, I really think used to, that was uncommon because one's at Cal and one's at Auburn. With the transfer portal now, the way kids bounce around, it makes a little more sense when you tell me that. Used to, you'd be like, man, how did a guy play high school end up at Cal and Auburn?
Yeah, I think they both played in Illinois, too.
Yeah,
if you want to know
exactly.
a melting
That's
pot
how.
it is. So here is Sam Jackson talking about him and Peyton Thorne's text messages this week.
Peyton mentioned to me he tried to reach out to you, but you kind of left him with no message back. Any reason and maybe why you're not talking with Peyton this week?
It's game week. I mean, we're best friends, but we're kind of like it's not a rival game, but because this is the first time we're playing Auburn, but I don't think there should be any communication between me and you, bro. We're both quarterbacks. I'm pretty sure there'll definitely be love after the game. Like there's love regardless, but once it gets to that point, it's like it's game time. It's time to roll. I know what the outcome will be. I know he thinks he knows what the outcome will be too, but I'm pretty sure after this it'll be some quietness with the communication for sure.
So how would you guys handle that? If you've got a friend that you went to high school with, best friends, he called Peyton Thorne, would you text game week? Would you not text game week?
It's a good question. I don't know. I obviously have never been in that situation. It feels like the texts are going to be kind of either awkward or it's going to be, some good-natured ribbing that could, maybe get out of hand. I don't know. I don't know who dictates that, right? Like if I don't send the text, does the other guy think, well, I kind of want to text him, but he's not texting me?
Well, Peyton said he texted him and he didn't respond. Yeah.
Do you agree to it beforehand? Like, hey, week 2, let's just don't text. We'll catch up after the game or whatever.
Coaches who call each other all the time often say, they took a break from calling each other on game week.
Yeah. Do you remember, I don't know if you remember, I think it was the first time Belichick faced Josh McDaniels when McDaniels was the Denver coach. And everybody was making such a big deal about it. And Belichick, it was a really quick handshake or whatever. And everybody made such a huge deal out of that until the NFL Films audio came out pregame when Belichick told him on the field, he's like, hey, let's just be brief post-game. We'll catch up, on our own after the game. I don't want to make a big deal out of all this.
That's right.
And McDaniel was like, yeah, I appreciate that. And it was you literally heard the conversation. Well, at the end of the game, everybody's like, boy, Belichick blew by him. What disrespect.
That was
so
chilly,
cold.
yeah.
But they had already agreed to do it. So, yeah, I do think it probably gets tricky. I mean, like Saban and Sark, I'm sure have it taught this week. They'll look like old friends at midfield,
Yeah, a great story from Ross Dellinger, where Ross is writing now, which is Yahoo, I think.
Yeah, I think he's Yahoo now.
So Ross has a story about Sark's aneurysm. He's got a 7-inch scar on his body now, 2020, the aneurysm, the heart aneurysm he suffered. He's got a pig valve replacement in there. And Saban said he was a ticking time bomb, man. And it was, Sark credits Saban for saving his life, basically. So it's a good read from Ross if you want to go catch that out. Sark and Saban probably not texting or calling each other this week. You imagine Saban's a good texter?
No, I don't think he does text, in fact. I think somebody texts for him and says, okay, Coach, here's the recruit we've texted, and here's what you said to him. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yeah, and he's on the phone right now. Talk to him. All right, quick break here. When we come back, we'll get you to the top of the hour. LT's picks coming up in the final segment of the show today. He'll join us on his way back from the beach for the big football weekend. As always, the Pick 3 is up and rolling at Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 3, nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. Just look for the B-Dubs logo and the Pick 3 banner there, nextroundlive.com. And don't forget NASCAR racing coming back to Talladega. Get your tickets right now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Our guest drove in from Atlanta this morning, drove right past the Talladega Superspeedway, huge 2.66-mile track, fastest speedway in the world. You can buy these tickets, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. It includes tickets to the Saturday race, Saturday night, the concert with Hardy, and the Sunday Yellowwood 500, the NASCAR playoff race. It's all at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
Going to a big football game? Walking around all day? Then you'll want comfortable shoes. This is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. Score a touchdown with a new pair of ultra-comfortable running or walking shoes. Come to the New Balance Birmingham store. I'm telling you, we'll make sure you have a perfect fit and we'll treat you like the starting QB. Our job is to make sure your feet are happy. Visit the New Balance Birmingham store on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A. Your feet will thank you.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
The next round is brought to you in part by the biggest, baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and always puts on a great show for the fans. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming and you do not want to miss it. Saturday, September 30th is the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, followed by Sunday's Yellowwood 500 in the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs. Be there to see drivers battle 500 miles to survive. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with walk-ons.
We're trying to figure out our pick 3 behind the curtain from last week to put on the scoreboard. And I think we just realized that as a trio, we went 1-8. Is that a fair?
That is not good. That's not good.
You don't think so, Rockstar?
Who got the one victory? Who's the man?
I believe that would be Lance.
Lance got the one victory. Yeah. But as we always say, Rockstar, hey, it's not going to happen again. We're going to bounce back.
No.
We're going to bounce back.
It's not how you start the season. It's how you finish.
Yeah. Our friends at Milo's, they want to help you finish a great meal. At Milo's Classic Burger wasn't enough. If you download the Milo's app after your first purchase, you get the original cheeseburger for free. Stuff your face right now with our friends at Milo's. Earn free stuff as well. Download the Milo's app today and start earning rewards with our friends at Milo's. Rockstar, as we continue on, we mentioned Sark there. Give me cut number 1. Texas, Texas, I don't ever picture Texas fans and Texas people being jealous or envious people. You? Very confident.
I've never really thought of it. They do seem confident in themselves. Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So it's got to be hard coming to play Alabama because they probably think they're better than Alabama.
Yeah.
Right.
They probably think they are, yeah.
Sark paying tribute, though, to Nick Saban this week at every chance he gets, just about the sustained success. He doesn't talk about success this year. Sustained success, what Nick has done all these years. Here's Steve Sarkisian.
I think as far as Coach Saban, it's pretty remarkable what he has done. When you think about the offensive coordinators, the defensive coordinators, the special teams coordinators, not to mention the position coaches that have come through. I think as a head coach, and you think, man, if I could ever have the longevity that he'd have, man, I'd sure love to have that style of consistency. And I think it all goes back to him. He knows exactly who he is. He does not change for you. You're going to change for him. And inevitably, whether it's the system that you want to bring in to run on offense, defense, special teams, whatever that is, or how you want to coach a player, you're going to coach it the way he wants you to coach it, and you're going to call plays the way he wants you to call it, and that allows him to continue to coach everybody on the team. But yet, as a new face comes in, things don't change as much as you think because they're really ran his way. And again, that's a credit to him for sticking to it and not diverting from who he is.
Steve Sarkisian there, great point there. He says no matter who comes in, and he's including himself there, things are run Nick Saban's way. They don't vary with the changing coaching staffs. And that's what has always amazed me every time there's a new coordinator in Tuscaloosa. Other than the big shift of style of play with Lane Kiffin, it hasn't changed that much. I wonder until now if it goes back to more of a Saban comfortable run type offense tomorrow.
I don't know if you remember a guy named Ron Middleton. He was on Nick Saban's original staff at Tuscaloosa. He was a special teams coach, and he only coached there 1 year, I believe, and he left and went to Duke. And when he went to Duke, you and I were doing radio at the time. We had him on the shows before we'd even joined up with Lance. It was back in 2008. And I remember asking him, I don't even remember the question, but I remember us being so stunned at his answer that he was like, and I had to look it up just now. He was coming from Tampa. He'd coached your Buccaneers. And he's like, I came in with the literal Tampa Bay Buccaneers special teams playbook. Like everything I had accumulated as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers special teams coach. And I walked in to my meeting with Coach Saban after I was hired and said, Coach, I've got this Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook. And Nick Saban basically said, hey, that's nice. We'll be using this one.
Yeah.
Here's my playbook.
Here's the Alabama playbook.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Middleton went on to say, he's like, he was always open to ideas, but we started with his playbook. That was it. We started with the Nick Saban playbook. And if I added ideas that he liked, and we built on that, but it's where it started. So what Sark talks about, even for a more accomplished offensive coordinator like Steve Sarkisian, and a lot of people believe him to be maybe the best offensive mind in college football, one of them, that's the way it operates in Tuscaloosa.
Home game for Alabama, that's important to you, right? That it's at home and not on the road.
Well, I mean, Alabama wins a lot of games at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah. Last 4 Alabama regular season losses. Do you have that picture, Forrester, I sent you last night? This has been the scene, the last 4 Alabama regular season losses. You don't have it here?
I know what the scene is.
You've seen it on social media. It's crowd on the field in Baton Rouge, crowd on the field in Knoxville, crowd on the field in College Station, crowd on the field in Auburn.
Yeah.
Those are the last 4 regular season losses for Alabama. Home game tomorrow. If they lose, obviously the crowd will not be on the field. Because, by the way, the Texas fans won't be able to get up from heaven down to the field fast enough, right? They'll be in the upper decks. But it is a home game, but they don't lose at home very often. And the last 4 regular season losses have been crowd-filled rushes. And it gets me to a question I sent out earlier this week. Georgia's the 2-time defending national champs. Whenever Georgia loses a game this year, do you think that team rushes the field if it's a road game?
We looked at the road games, and they're tricky because they're at Georgia Tech, which will probably have more Georgia fans. It's at Vanderbilt, which will certainly have more Georgia fans. At Tennessee would be the one, and at Auburn.
Yeah. So my question would be, if Auburn beats them, does Auburn rush the field like they do when they beat Alabama? Because it's almost become like, the last time Auburn beat Alabama, there was no Tua. And, Mac was a backup. It was a good game. It was an important game. It always is a big win. But it was almost like we're just going to make this a tradition now. If we beat Alabama at Jordan-Hare Stadium since the kick 6, we're going to go on the field.
I mean, pretty much every ending at Jordan-Hare Stadium is a field rush ending, right? I mean, they're just kind of crazy games the way they go. And they were going to rush the field the last time Alabama played at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And Bryce Young saved the day on that one for Alabama. I mean, it was getting ready to happen. They were already geared up.
And listen, it's a rivalry. I'm okay if it's 30-0 Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Go ahead and rush the field. It's the end of the year. Tear at the hedges. Whatever you want to do. Everyone's saying Georgia gets the field rushed on them this year if they lose a game on the road.
I mean, it's really only 2. I guess Georgia Tech would. Yeah, Vanderbilt will not. It's an active construction zone for one thing. You got to be careful. You got to have a hard hat. I guess Georgia Tech. Even Thanksgiving weekend will have enough students at that game that they could rush the field. There'll be a lot of Georgia fans there. Vanderbilt will not, but if it happens in Knoxville, you better believe, because again, if they're winning that game in Knoxville, they've got Alabama and Texas A&M, so this is tricky, but if they're winning that game in Knoxville, there's a chance that's sending them to Atlanta. Now they got to find a way to beat probably Bama and Texas A&M, or at least one of those two. They could only probably have the one loss for that to be the case. But I could see a scenario where that game looks like it sends them to Atlanta. That would absolutely be a field rush in Knoxville.
Yeah, I'll tell you, these last four rushes of Alabama, that's real field rushes. Look at this right here. Now that's
a full field.
That's a full field of fans in those scenes right there. Meanwhile, this week we saw Wyoming and Duke rush the field. Would have filled up a basketball court. Not necessarily that same quad box there that you get from that. Our friends at Alabama Power gets us to the final hour of the show today. It's important to stay in the know when it comes to how much power you're using every day. That's why Alabama Power offers convenient ways for you to get information on your energy usage every day. Did you know you could receive alerts on your daily energy usage? And when your bill is ready to view, you can receive these alerts Text or email for more information, and to sign up, visit alabamapower.com/myaccount. alabamapower.com/myaccount. 1 hour to go, including Rockstar's Playhouse. That starts off next hour right here on TNR.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
You hear a lot of interesting phrases while playing golf, like, I think you're on the beach, or the classic, you gotta hit it, Alice. One word you're sure to hear right now at Bentbrook Golf Club is wow. Brand new carts with complimentary GPS, and the bent grass greens are so consistent, you just might drain a few more putts, Alice. Tee it up and find out for yourself. Book around today at bentbrook.com or call 428-1999. It's better at Bentbrook.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The Next Round brought to you by the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. The Yellowwood 500 NASCAR Playoffs weekend is coming up. You don't want to miss it. The action kicks off Saturday, September 30th with the Craftsman Truck Series Playoffs race, all leading up to the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs on Sunday, October the 1st. Be there to see these drivers battle for 500 miles to survive and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
I have never been in this good of a mood for a big game weekend than I am right now. It's just been a great day. It's just been a great day, and we've had a lot of good friends swing by and say hi to us, including Sean and Bryn, who are on their way down. They're about to go check. I don't know if it was a recruiting violation. I don't know if we need to report this or not, but Bryn is a lacrosse player, and I was like, I just sent her to Montevallo to check it out.
They got a lacrosse team there?
Yes. 23 NCAA.
So she's going lacrosse country?
Oh, wow.
But there is I said it would only take them 25 minutes out of their way they're going to Tuscaloosa now, and instead of jumping on 459 and going there 50 minutes to get to Tuscaloosa, if you go 25 minutes to Montevallo, from Montevallo to Tuscaloosa, isn't there about 50? It's about a 50-minute drive from there.
I've never made that drive in my life that I'm aware of.
That back way.
Yeah.
I think there's a back way. Help me out, Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room. There's a back way from Montevallo to Tuscaloosa that I think some fans from that part of the state take on their drive on game day to Tuscaloosa. I've always been told it's a good route.
All right.
And I think back until they got the routes dialed in really well, that some people left Tuscaloosa even to come back to North Shelby County through whatever that is. Highway 11 is what people are saying.
All right.
Yeah, it's a nice drive. People, it's going to be a beautiful drive. Picturesque. It's like the it's like A1A is what this is going to be, right through the heart of Bibb County. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Speegs and I used to go that way from 3340. Patrick, thank you. I bet James Spann could name 18 things on that road between Montevallo and Tuscaloosa.
There used to be. Did you go through Centerville that way? Through Centerville and Brent, there was a place to eat called Twix and Tween. I think it is closed now.
I think it is too. I don't know for sure. But tell Sean and Bren real quick. Sean, Bren, you're going to be driving right past Champy's Chicken, too.
Oh, that's true.
If you want some good Southern fried chicken on your way to Montevallo right now. So Sterling and Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. So maybe some folks are going by there. Champy's Chicken for your tailgate needs and everything this big football weekend. 82 is the best. Thank you, Michael, for that. 216. Boy, a lot of numbers there. 11.
Yeah.
You know who I'm not? I'm not James Spann. You could throw any number you want up there. I don't know who the hell, where you're talking.
There's a Chevron
25.
right there.
Highway 25. Yeah. Back way on Highway 25 through Bibb County. I think Bobby's the one that got that right about everyone.
All right.
I'm not going to question Patrick and his Jeff Spiegel ride there, but I think from Montevallo, I think it may be 25 through Bibb County. Bobby, thank you for that. ChampysChicken.com for your tailgate. We appreciate Sterling and his crew so much. Correction on our pick 3. Brown got one right.
Yeah,
too.
I got USC right. I'd forgotten that.
So cocky.
Yeah, I know. One and two there, Rocky. I got USC right. I missed on Iowa and missed on the Jays up South Alabama.
So we were a cool 2-7 as a group. One of us was 0-3.
So Lance got one right.
Yeah,
Brown
I got one right. Yeah.
Who went 0-3?
Rough start.
It was me.
You're throwing Vegas off, man. Only an idiot. You remember Vinny Verno used to tell you all the time, only an idiot wins week 1.
Suckers them in.
That's
right.
right.
There. Suckers them in. All right. Before we get to Rockstar's Playhouse, some big thoughts on the games going around the country. I asked some of this to Chip earlier. Lance is going to join us at the end with our picks. Emily Grace, EG, is going to come in and read trash in our next segment. But I want to ask you about a couple of games here. First off, let's go straight to Texas A&M Miami. How do you see that one playing out? And if this is one of your pick 3,
no, it is not.
Please get away from it.
It is not, because I'm having a very difficult time figuring this game out. You know, I thought week 1 against New Mexico, you saw a revamped Texas A&M offense, and you just heard Chip sit right there in the first hour and say, man, Connor Wegman, I am a fan of Connor Wegman. I like the way he played the game. What's not to like? He threw 5 touchdowns. He was more efficient than a Texas A&M quarterback has been since Johnny Manziel, probably. It just hasn't been that way under Jimbo Fisher. They look totally different on a way. Can that travel? This is a game that, by all rights, Miami should have won last year. They outgained them by double and lost the game in College Station. I did not watch a ton of Miami in week 1, so it's kind of hard to put a finger on Tyler Van Dyne and Miami. I think this is a really difficult spot for Texas A&M. I have my doubts if that offense is going to travel that well this early. Maybe later in the season they're able to do that on the road too. I just have my doubts they're able to do that on the road at Miami. I think it's a tight Texas A&M win.
To me, it comes down to, can Miami run the ball on Texas A&M? I like the Aggies. We'll see if that's in one of our pick 3s. You can play your pick 3 right now, nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com, thanks to our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Rockstar, give me cut 5. As we set this up, Hugh Freeze, are you one of the people that are buying in that Cal can win this football game?
Oh, Cal can absolutely win this football game. I think Auburn will, but Cal can absolutely win this football game. Jada, not the way he ran the football. Now, I know it was North Texas, but they've obviously got a good run game. Jarquez Hunter still, is he going to play or not play? I know Damari Alston brings a lot, but he's not Jarquez Hunter. And again, you're asking a team to go on a road, and there's just a lot of intangibles here in the travel situation. Hugh Freeze is obviously worried about that. Absolutely, Cal can win this football game.
Interesting game, but one thing that worked pretty well the first week was the play calling between Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery, all the way it was called and everything. Here's Hugh Headroom on the reaction to play calling with Philip Montgomery. You probably need to tighten the camera up.
Is that a shot at the framing on this? That's not Forrester, by the way.
Yeah, just tighten the camera up just a little bit.
Not Forrester's fault.
You've talked in the past about how you and Philip are going to balance play calling. Now that you're a game in, how did that balance work? How'd you feel with that being comfortable or not comfortable, that whole process?
Well, it was easy Saturday. It wasn't, You just kind of looked at the call sheet, and the things we had planned are the things we called, and they tended to work in the run game, and so that makes it's not real. I don't think that was a great test for us. Truthfully, it was because the run game was working and you felt you had control of it. It was smooth. I think as the games get more challenging will be, how do we operate then? And but I have no worries. I mean, neither one of us have any ego about it. So let's figure out what we can do to help our team win.
Jarquez Hunter, play or not play?
I would guess not play. Don't know. Obviously up in the air. I'd guess not play. That's the first time, Hugh Freeze talked a lot about this in the offseason, how he's always handled the play calling, but you bring in Philip Montgomery, a guy that's had head coaching experience, and you hand off some of that to him. I don't know to what degree you handed it off, how much Hugh Freeze still called in that game. But it's interesting to hear him talk about that because I think it's the first time in his career he's allowed another person to be that involved in play calling or have, call that many plays, however you want to word that, based on what he has said. I don't know that to be factual. I'm just saying, taking from what Hugh Freeze has said about this, it feels like that was the first time that had ever happened. And we saw Gus Malzahn never want to give that up. Gus Malzahn would bring in offensive coordinator. They were going to call the plays, and Gus ended up calling the plays. It's a hard thing to surrender for a guy like Hugh Freeze, and he's a really good offensive coach. And part of you as an Auburn fan is like, that's the whole reason he hired him is because of how good an offensive coach he's been. I really kind of want him calling plays. But you also want him to be comfortable. And, I thought it was interesting when he said that Philip Montgomery was going to call a lot of the plays, that he almost made it sound like I've got more on my plate as the Auburn head football coach than I've ever had as a football coach, which is interesting to me. I don't know what – you know what I'm saying? He basically said that last week. It's too much right now. I need the help calling plays. And I'm like, what is different about that than Liberty and Ole Miss? I know it's a bigger level, but you also have more people, right? You got more support staff. I don't know if he's feeling more pressure. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Personally, if you want to know what I think, I think that this roster and these players, I know a lot of people are going to say Hugh Freeze's biggest asset is his play calling. I think Hugh Freeze's biggest asset is his people skills and the way he can manage people, motivate people, relate to people. And I think he knows that he best serves the team this year, motivating, massaging, and managing this roster that is not as good as some of the teams they'll play. And I think he will milk the most out of this roster by being Hugh Freeze, the guy who sort of relates to the players. And I mean, if you watch him on the sidelines, you can just tell how the players and he relate to him. He relates to this age group and this style of player better than some.
Yeah, he is. I don't know. This is a weird game to me. It's just weird. I mentioned it was tough for me to get a feel on the first game you asked me. It's tough to get a feel on this Auburn-Cal game. I like what Cal did in week one. I like what Auburn did in week one, but neither one of them were playing a team with a heartbeat. So I don't know how much I could take away from either one of those performances.
Troy says there's more work to do at Auburn than just calling plays. I want him spending the majority of his time recruiting.
Well, he's been trying that.
He has been doing that. All right, our friends at NASCAR, before we get to Rockstar's Playhouse today, want to remind you that door handle to door handle racing, the bumper to bumper drive, 200 miles per hour plus. It's what you get with the NASCAR playoffs. You get it at Talladega coming up September 30th and October 1st. The Hardy concert is Saturday night. Your ticket covers all of this. All you have to do is get TalladagaSuperspeedway.com on your computer. Buy those tickets right there. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. September 30th. Craftsman Truck Series playoff race. Hardy in concert Saturday night. Then the Yellowwood 500 on Sunday. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Rockstar, as we get ready for your Playhouse this week, last week you brought back an old familiar face,
Mr. Andrew Dice Clay Travis.
Andrew Dice Clay Travis.
Yeah.
There were people that
he was over there. Now he's over here.
I was over there.
Yeah.
And now I'm over here. There were people that were disappointed there was no Gary the Gator. We will get one Gary the Gator this year.
We should get one Gary the Gator this year. Gary has used a lot of.
Is it a content situation?
Yeah, a lot of borrowed material has been used.
The writers are off. The writers are on strike.
Yes. Yeah, and it was obvious last week.
Yeah. I got an idea.
Yeah.
I got to definitely just give me a good idea for
I
Gary.
think I know where you're going.
Yeah. I can definitely give a good idea.
Okay. All right. That's for later this year. But today's Rockstar Playhouse brought to you by Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City, or call him up, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City on Facebook. It's Storm Restoration Roofing Rockstar.
Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play. Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play.
Let's have some fun. Oh, that sounds swell. So, a while back ago, we started this new series called Rockstar in the Womb, and we haven't unleashed any of them yet.
Will those be on the Disrupt the Media channel, the Next Round show? Where are those coming?
It's going to be on the Next Round Pods.
Next Round Pods?
Yeah.
Next
that
Round
doesn't
Pods.
exist.
I don't know.
Okay, but wait a second. So none of these have aired yet.
No, we haven't had them. Scott and I have done a few of these, and
I know what's in the hopper for some of these, and I'm very excited about them. Yeah.
So this first one,
My wife's in the hopper.
All right.
Is that one where you can record 5 things at once? They still do ask for that. Anyway, so the first one I got to talk to this guy who's considered, people call him a legend or whatever, so I didn't really know a lot about him. And we interviewed, we do it in this little womb chair we had in the studio, and it went. This is a 45-minute conversation, so y'all sit back and I'm just joshing with you. And here we go. Explain it again. This is an expensive chair. I've been told it is a womb chair. It is not very comfortable, but we're going to do some interviews here. We're going to interview some celebrities, some famous athletes, politicians, maybe a few chefs. And today we get to settle, and you always have to settle. And today we settle with a guy that went to the University of Auburn in Alabama, Mr. Adam Greco. I've been told you played there. You were a kicker. You kicked the ball, which is really cool to me these days. How are you doing, Adam?
It's Al, first of all.
It's Al.
Al Del Greco.
Adam. Al Del Greco.
2 words. A lot of people think Del is my first name.
Okay, so it's Al. Okay,
Al.
got it. That's my fault. I didn't do a lot of research, but it's really nice to meet you. If you could start your own furniture arranging business, you know what you'd call it?
What would I call it?
Greco Deco. I think that would be a great thing, just something to think about.
How about Deco by Greco?
See, that's just cheesy.
No, you don't like that?
That doesn't.
Okay.
No. It says on your bio, I read your bio and everything. I kind of checked out about 2 sentences in. That's nothing against you. It's just the content of what it was. But it says that you're an athlete. You're an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, in the technical sense, I guess. I mean, you put a ball in front of me.
Yeah.
Put a club in my hand. Put a tennis racket in my hand.
Oh, so you're a swinger.
No, wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
Put a tennis racket in my hand. I mean, I could play the sport.
Yeah.
So, depends, if you're going on athlete, which looks to me like you're kind of looking at a stereotype of a body figure and a weight and.
Yeah, an athlete.
Yeah.
That's what
in that sense, I can't put myself in that category.
And I read that you were an Oiler. Was it anything like the movie There Will Be Blood, or was that another Hollywood lie that we were fed?
Not particularly aware of what that movie is. So
he's an oil man. He goes
yeah,
and
like
it's
on an oil rig.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was anything like that. And he was a ruthless guy. And he was all about money. And there's a big milkshake scene where he's like, "I drink your milkshake," and he throws bowling pins. It's really intense, and I didn't know if that had anything to do with it.
I was very intense as an oiler.
Good.
Never worked with any crude oil in my career there.
That wouldn't be an oiler then, but okay, keep going.
But definitely was intense in what I did. Took a lot of focus, took a lot of athletic ability.
That's another lie.
So it was
from your teammates. Athletic
teammates, and when I went in the game as well.
When you helped, yeah, that's cool.
Sometimes the athletes did all the work, and then I came in and
got the accolades,
or all the blame.
Well, that's cool. That's a fun responsibility. This is a weird question. Do you have any distant relation to semi-famous actor Richard Grieco?
To my knowledge, no.
Let's go see if you can get him on the show. I was just asking everybody here, and it got really deep and philosophical, so I'll ask, no better person to ask than you. Who is Al Del Greco?
Wow. I don't know if I've ever been asked that question.
Okay, well, just try not to be bored with you.
Yeah. Say kind-hearted guy that has the best interest of everybody at heart, tries to do the right thing, wants to be...
Al Del Greco from the University of Auburn in Alabama. He was a kicker, and I hope he kicks ass for the rest of his day and maybe for the rest of his life. It's been Inside the Womb with Rockstar. I appreciate Mr. Del Greco, Mr. Greco, whatever his name is. He's been fantastic, and thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to do a hand. Thank you for coming in. You're the best.
If you were an athlete, you'd know what to do.
I'm a mathlete.
Mathlete.
Yeah, I do. I'm really bad at math. I'm really good at kissing.
That's okay.
Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play. Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, it's a Rockstar Playhouse, come out and play.
Really, really crazy that, I mean, we've put out all this content and we're holding that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah. That was,
that's
I told
so
him,
good.
I said, I'm going to be a little mean to you. He's like, that's fine.
No,
you can be as mean as you want.
Al's the nicest guy in the world. He wasn't going to care. That was, as that guy says, loved it, great amount of awkward. Somebody says nobody does awkward better than Rockstar.
Thank you.
It's getting compared to something I have never personally viewed. I doubt you have either. Rockstar Zach
Galifianakis is
something
between
between the ferns.
Yeah.
I'm completely unfamiliar. I'm sure
I
you
don't
are
know
too.
what
So,
I don't know what you're talking
I don't know
about.
what they mean by that. So
The guy from The
whatever.
Hangover has a show?
I
That's
don't
weird.
know. I don't know, but I like In the Womb.
So you think somebody sits down with this Galifianakis guy and they're famous and it's awkward?
Jim, they're saying that in the chat room. I've personally never viewed that myself. Rockstar, I don't think has either.
This is just an interview. I don't know what.
Yeah, so I really don't know
the
what they
Hangover
mean.
guy does.
Yeah.
Boy, I haven't been this upset since somebody accused us of doing best and worst of the weekend like Dan Patrick and them does.
Please.
Who's Dan Patrick?
Does Dan Patrick have hemp hill on the show? I don't think so.
That is a great point.
I mean, really, ours is totally different. Ours has hemp hill.
Tyler's like, I'm surprised too. The Hangover guy ripped off Rockstar in the Womb.
I mean, come on.
I might need to pursue this.
Yeah,
that's
go
kinda
watch it. He might have some
deflating.
good ideas for you.
Does he have the womb chair too?
I think he's got two ferns.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, see.
As long as they don't set up in between them, then that would be too close to what we were trying to do.
Totally different.
Yeah. All right. That's Rockstar's Playhouse, brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing this week. When we come back, EG will join us, and she will read trash for us today, and we'll all react to that. And then Lance in the final segment of the show, as we'll give our pick 3 coming out. The show being brought to you by the people that changed Lance's hair. The big talk last night at the reception, other than who made the diving catch for the bouquet, was who's that guy with the great hair? And the answer was Lance Taylor.
And that is thanks to our guy, Dr. B, T3hair.net. Dr. B is the guy that changed Lance's hair forever. It looks fantastic thanks to Dr. B, and he can do the same thing for you. Basically, the way it started was an in-office visit where Dr. B did a consultation with Lance. And Dr. Beckett's team said, okay, we come up with a plan here, but it's not just some cookie cutter plan. They give you a bunch of options that you can go over and choose the best one for you. Lance chose a non-invasive laser treatment. It will increase the thickness and the health of Lance's hair, and the results have been tremendous so far, and they will continue to be tremendous. Dr. Beckett's team takes great pride in treating every single patient personally. He's applied his expertise to produce quality results for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. You can do the same. T3hair.net. That is T3hair.net or 205-319-0316. Tell Dr. B you want Lance's head of hair. T3hair.net, 205-319-0316. Trash is next.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice. As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today.
It's NBA time, Birmingham, as we hoop it up with the New Orleans Pelicans and Houston Rockets, October 12th at Legacy Arena. Single game tickets are now available. Visit birminghamsquadron.com or call 205-719-0850 for more information or to buy tickets. And the game is packed with former local players like Herb Jones and Kyra Lewis Jr. and Jabari Smith, and other superstars like Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. You can also become a Squadron season ticket holder to get complimentary tickets to this huge event right here in the Magic City. The Pelicans preseason game in Birmingham sold out last year, so get your tickets as soon as possible. Do that online at birminghamsquadron.com or by calling 205-719-0850. October 12th, it's the Pelicans and Rockets at Legacy Arena right here in Birmingham. birminghamsquadron.com.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the next round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Some of you call her EG. Some of you call her 13. She's simply Emily Grace. She's geared up today.
I am.
That's not a Penn State jersey.
No.
That is a Georgia Southern jersey.
Yep.
Show them the back.
You got to turn around and show the name on the back. MEG.
MEG on the back there. She's ready to go. Georgia Southern hosting UAB this weekend. She's a proud graduate back in May, and she's now our. You won't even get to watch the game. You'll be over in Tuscaloosa for the big game.
I know. I'll be keeping up with it, but I love Paulson Stadium, but I think this weekend may beat it.
Yeah, I'm going to say Bryant-Denny's atmosphere slightly better than Paulson's. Yeah, I'm just going to guess. No.
Taylor's got her Auburn jersey on today. But Taylor's never in here anymore. How come Taylor?
Tell Taylor to run in. Yeah. She can hear us. She can run in here to show us her Bo Jackson jersey.
Yeah, I mean Taylor's jersey. At some point during trash, Taylor, make it in here wherever you get this back there. Our friends at Wayne's. For the past 50 years, Wayne's Pest Control has been serving our communities by doing the things that they love to do, providing world-class pest control and termite protection to all those who need it and the people they care about the most, and that's you. And they want to say thank you for helping them serve for 50 years. Visit Waynes.com. Call Waynes.com. I was distracted by more jerseys running at me. Call Waynes.com. Call Waynes.com today to enjoy $50 off pest control and termite protection. Call Waynes.com today to enjoy $50 off of pest control and termite protection. My favorite part last night was your mom at Bud Light game night when you two were standing profile to each other, talking to each other. They were like, oh, my God, you guys could be sisters.
I know.
And Dunaway said, we've hired the blonde little T.
Yeah.
And their chronological order, 2, 3, 4.
That's true.
Oh
2,
my
3, 4.
goodness.
Yeah.
3, 4.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
We didn't even plan that.
Yeah.
Little T, do you wear?
And in Brown's head, it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Amen.
Do you wear the Bo Jackson every week, or is it like if Auburn loses, you change?
No, I
Now that you bring it up, Brad.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
Well,
mean
now
it.
that you ask.
Yeah.
No, I have a blue one, but I don't really like it as much.
Okay, so you
so
go
whenever
with
I'm
the-
wearing a jersey, I'm wearing this
You go with the
one.
home Auburn Bo Jackson.
Correct.
Every week, okay?
Yes.
This is road.
I mean, I'm sorry, the road
Well,
Auburn
yes,
Bo
but
Jackson,
white.
yes.
She hardly ever wears the Daniel Cobb jersey.
I know, never Daniel Cobb. Rockstar says you need more Daniel Cobb.
No, sorry, Rocky, I can't hear you.
She doesn't have headphones.
Don't need to,
That's right.
She doesn't hear the Daniel Cobb era.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, well, you'll
She
have
was
fun
a
with
Jerry.
trash.
She was a Jerry.
She wants out.
All right, you out?
Well, I mean, I didn't want to hold y'all up.
You're not
We're on
holding
a
us out. We're on a tight schedule. What are you?
Yeah, tight ship.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And
go ahead.
I'm also.
Go ahead and tell
in
them
the
what you're
middle
doing.
of-
Oh, you're doing the something Dunaway dropped on you at the last minute for the last segment?
She has a whole segment to have the scoreboard ready
So
for
he's
the
walked
next
in and
segment.
said, "Hey, so do you have this thing from last year?" I said, "Dunaway, off the top of my head, I'm not sure."
She started
And
doing this. She was,
He hands me a scrap of paper about like the corner of
Fortune
this.
cookie.
Like it's like a 1 inch by 1 inch square. So can you just have this ready by next segment?
Yeah.
You have a whole segment though. Thank you. Yeah, sure.
you don't need
so,
it this segment. Next segment.
Yeah. So
Has Scotty ever heard that before?
yeah. By next segment. So don't rush through trash. Is all I'm
Okay,
gonna
yeah.
say.
So EG be
And-
deliberate is what you're saying? Okay.
I got
Yeah.
you.
In the meantime, though, get out at a certain time. The time
Yeah.
we talked about yesterday.
Naturally.
Trash every day.
So much information.
I know.
Hey, it's a learning experience
It
too.
is.
But we don't plan out the show, and that's what makes it more fun to me. Champies brings you this hour. ChampiesChicken.com. We appreciate Sterling and the crew so much. If you're going to the tailgate or take home, Champies Chicken and jump in with them. There's the great folks. Sterling down there, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and a lot more. ChampiesChicken.com. Rockstar, it is time for trash. Hit the big button now.
I have you on camera, and I have you.
I'm not threatening you.
You
I'm
would
gonna go over
okay.
and cut that.
Is this your plant? I have no incentive to give you any positive politeness at all, do I? You were nothing but rude and belligerent. Have a good day, ma'am.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Yes, you too. Thank you.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
And the first step in the home buying process should be mortgageright.com/TNR. They put the M in mastery when it comes to mortgages. Mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239. Here with trash today, number 13. Emily Grace McWhorter, we call her EG.
And it should be pointed out is this is your first job out of college. Remember, we are not FCC regulated. So
Right, yep.
when you hear bumps like that,
Yeah.
don't go to your next job if that ever happens and think that you could say those words on
Right.
there.
Some things slip through.
Don't cut down your neighbor's plants.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's a learning. That's a learning.
Yes.
The learning experience.
God, I mean, I just completely froze up right there. That's happened to me twice today. Should I be worried?
Brown going on McConnell on us.
I know. Make sure you vote Brown for U.S. Senate in Kentucky.
My favorite was when the woman walked up and said, "Are you running for re-election?"
I don't think it's a hearing issue, lady.
Yeah, I don't think he's deaf.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we've got some good stuff today. I'm excited. And if you guys need lunch plans,
I
we can
do.
start off with this one. All right. Taco Bell has announced the new cheesy jalapeno Mexican pizza. It was dropped yesterday. So it is basically a rendition of the original Mexican pizza.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No. I'm just
Oh,
saying, wait a minute.
I mean, I
as
thought you wanted to pause
an emphasis.
and-
Well, I do. I want to take
know.
all this in.
Take
So
it
you're
in.
new to the show.
Yes.
Lance and I are fans of the Mexican pizza. I love the Mexican
Wow.
pizza. Best thing on the menu at Taco Bell, and it was all for so long. This, MEG, is a bit of a twist for me because I
Yeah.
also love spicy. So here we go.
Well,
Tell me
maybe
more.
they made it for you. So let me paint a picture here for you guys.
Please.
There are a layer of seasoned beef and refried beans
Check.
between two crispy tortilla shells
Check.
topped with the Mexican pizza sauce.
Check.
Shredded cheese blend,
Check.
nacho cheese sauce, diced
Check.
tomatoes, and we're going
Check.
to round it out with pickled jalapenos.
And check.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is nothing wrong in that
No.
dish right there.
No.
MEG.
I know.
Yeah, actually, if you just go with their Nacho Bel Grande, it's the same thing and it's a lot easier to eat. But go ahead.
Hey, man, you got any more of that Mexican pizza sauce? Yeah.
I love the Mexican
What is
pizza.
the Mexican pizza sauce?
And they've added jalapenos. Now, they've only added 4. I would like to know if I could request extra jalapenos.
I'm sure. Maybe
Yeah.
that might be an app.
Oh, there's
rule.
5. Wait a minute. I see 5 on there now.
One of them had a child.
Yeah.
Yes. While I was talking, we've
Yeah.
multiplied.
And in these type stories, sometimes we like to use the word beef
Yeah.
with air quotes.
Nice.
Oh, done away. Everybody says that Taco Bell is like serving horse meat or cat meat or stuff like that. And
No.
What nobody ever accounts for is how much more expensive that would be to get than actual beef.
Right.
I
Now,
mean, beef's pretty cheap.
I would agree. Now, this
In
will
respect.
run you back $4.49.
Well, is that expensive or cheap?
I mean, that's up for the consumer to decide.
That's
it could
a
be
great
priceless.
answer,
It could be
EG.
priceless.
By the size of those peppers, it doesn't seem very big.
Yeah, I think it's smaller than the old Mexican pizza, Rocky. It seems like hand-sized.
In the trailer park, we used to call that finger food.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like an appetizer. Here's my problem. $4.49 for the normal consumer. I got to order 2 of those.
Right,
though.
Yeah,
right.
and,
It's $9
and-
for me.
And by finger food, I meant my dad the portions are so small, he would give it the middle finger and never order it.
They're ripping us off, son.
Well, speaking of normal consumer, this next story, not a normal consumer of hedge clippers. So at a local Ace Hardware in Ashtabula, Ohio, an ankle bracelet was found on a shelf number 1, after a man asked an employee where he could find a pair of hedge clippers, only to cut off his monitor.
I mean, not the dumbest idea in the world. Of course, we've got video
What
cameras.
is so great about I don't know if we have access to the video, but seeing the security cam video is him just nonchalantly walking around, asking for it, gets it.
Yeah.
You don't see the action of him cutting it off. Then there's a little free popcorn stand outside of the sliding doors.
Right.
He gets a little bag of free popcorn, just
Thanks,
walks
fellas.
off. He's done.
Yeah.
He cuts his ankle monitor, gets a bag of popcorn.
Probably see you next Saturday to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to Tracy's house. She can't stop me now.
My favorite thing is there's somebody who's monitoring him, and he's like, man, prisoner 1267 is still in Ace's Hardware right now.
We'll get him when he comes out. Y'all just wait right here.
Yeah, he's a long shopping spree.
I will say he rode away on his bicycle, so I'm not sure how far he was able to get.
Well, further than having that monitor on.
Further than we may think.
Hey,
So,
had some popcorn.
He's been in that hardware store for 48 hours.
Hey, listen, do you regret the popcorn if that's the last meal you eat before going back to the clink?
Popcorn on a bicycle is kind of tough.
I should have gotten that Mexican pizza. I had one shot.
At some point, Rockstar, you got to do the no hands thing. Got to have good balance.
And then you get that one kernel in your tooth that's just
Every time.
destroying your tongue.
I
'cause
love
you will
popcorn.
Not let it go.
You know what I love is that purple bag of the sweet and salty. I don't know who the maker is. You know what I'm
Is
talking
it
about?
Boom Shock or Boom Chicka Pop?
Maybe, I don't know. But it's the lilac colored bag. And I swear to you, every time I do it, first bite, I get a kernel up in my teeth. Like the first bite.
As you around the room real quick, at the bottom, you're at the movies, the last 3 handfuls at the bottom that has a lot of the partially cooked or slightly cooked.
Teeth breakers.
You like those or don't like those?
Hate them.
I don't seek them out, but I don't mind them.
Yeah, I'm a no on that. I don't like the burnt.
Love them.
Do you
Love
really?
them, yes.
I've found you like burnt stuff.
I do like burnt and crunchy stuff, yes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I like my brownies a little. I like
little
I like the
crispy.
edges.
You're the corner, I'm the
Brownie
middle.
brittle. Have you had that from Costco?
I have,
Yeah,
yes.
it's good.
Are you a edge or center?
Edge. Corner.
Corner edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Corner
too.
edge,
My
yeah.
entire family is center, so it works out good.
perfectly.
I get
I'm a
all the
platter.
edges.
You want the whole AP?
Yeah, I'm a platter.
That's the thing. That's how I knew Jennifer and our marriage was going to work forever. Is the first time she did brownies, she just wanted the outside pieces, and I wanted the inside pieces.
I mean,
we're perfect.
Match made in
You
heaven.
and I are a puzzle.
Well, unlike your marriage, Brown, Kevin Costner is dealing
Well,
with some stuff right now.
they don't all
if
work.
You will. So his wife, Christine Baumgartner, says she'll enter the workforce after child support was cut in half. Now, guys, it was cut in half to almost $130,000, and that's half of what she was getting.
Is that per year or
Is
per
that
month?
a year or a month?
That's per
A month? So I got to go back to work now.
Yeah.
Right. And
130 grand a month?
Brown,
Yes.
Brown, the gardener, the chef, and the maid are not going to pay for themselves.
They don't work for free, do they, Jimmy?
Well, she actually said in court, she argued that Costner should cough up more in child support because a luxurious life is in the kids' DNA at this point. And guys, the kids are all above 13.
Fantastic
13,
argument.
14 and 16.
Yeah. Is there a chance that Kevin Costner, in his Yellowstone voice, said, I think they forget sometime who runs this valley?
What if he did that every time he had to testify? Your Honor.
So what are y'all's thoughts on that? Would you
Yeah, the line, a luxurious lifestyle is in this kid's DNA is probably a line you're
I
like,
mean, that bothers me, but if there is, you're responsible for your your life too, and if that's what the ruling was, you need to pay what the ruling was.
I don't really know. Would you call that a plunging neckline on that dress there,
Yes.
EG? Yeah.
Yes, that's conservative to call it that.
Yeah, I'm more offended by his than I am hers. yeah, I would call his plunging too.
Ain't that Robin Hood?
Yeah. All the way down to apparently an open heart surgery scar.
Wow, Jim. No, again, which one? Kevin?
I don't know.
KC?
All right, so now we also have, guys, some new terms being added to dictionary.com. That's pretty official to me.
Yeah, dictionary.com.
Yeah.
That's where I go.
So I'm going to read through these, and I'm going to guess that you guys have not heard of these words, because I have not. I didn't even know there was a term for some of these feelings.
Ooh, I bet I'll surprise you. I am a potpourri of feelings.
Let's see. So the first one is agalast, a person who never laughs, a humorous person. Is
Such
that
an
you on
agalast.
Game Day, Dunaway?
Humorless?
Humorless.
No,
person.
Jim laughs a lot.
I don't laugh. I don't really laugh out loud a lot, except on this show. But like, if we're watching a movie, my wife gets so mad at me that I think it's funny, but I don't laugh out loud.
Right.
During a movie.
Just internally.
Yeah, I'm
Keep it
laughing
in.
on the inside.
Yes. Next, we have Blur's Day, a day not easily distinguished from other days. Kind of a blur.
Well, it's a Blur's Day. I have some Blur's Days occasionally.
Yeah. Yesterday was a Blur's Day.
A little bit. It also happened to be a Thursday.
Yeah.
Right. Next, we have a coffee nap. I've never heard of this one. A short nap, usually 15 to 30 minutes, taken immediately after drinking a cup of coffee. The claimed benefit being that the energizing effect of caffeine may be bolstered by a sleeping body's drop in adenosine levels.
I would tell you, you have not experienced this yet. Take out the coffee in that, and LT is known for a quick 15 or 30-minute nap in the green room, and then he pops up and he's ready to tackle the second half of the day.
And he'll get sound asleep. Like I stumbled in there one day and accidentally woke him up. He was out.
See, I don't nap well.
Right.
Like he is able to sit down and take a 15-minute nap or a 30-minute nap and get up.
Yeah,
if I lay down for a nap, I may be there for 3 hours.
Yeah, the thing I hate, like if you take too long of a nap, the feeling it gives me the rest of the day, I hate.
Yeah.
I never recover from it.
They're
So
supposed
there's
to
a
say
limit.
You're not supposed to take longer than a 2-hour nap is going to make you groggy.
Oh, I
for the
can't do
rest of the
2
day.
hours.
I mean,
More
it's like
than an
some people are
hour.
like, well, yeah, but like then like I used to could, but like I think at the ideal time is 20 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last one I'm going to share from dictionary.com's terms, shower orange.
Shower orange?
Orange, the fruit. An orange that is peeled and eaten under a steamy shower, important. The purported benefit being that the steam enhances the orange's citrusy fragrance and creates a soothing experience for the person who is showering.
Oh, I don't hate
like
this.
Yeah, I don't like eating in the shower.
I don't
though. That
either,
seems
but
weird.
I don't hate this.
You don't do lo mein in the shower?
I do not.
God,
I've
do
never
it
had a
twice
meal in the
week.
shower, but
Yeah.
I mean that is an interesting concept. Just the food in the shower.
Yeah.
I mean-
Patrick with the great use of the Zach Bryan lyric over there, something in the shower orange.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that
That's
is good.
I mean, I'll eat at the table, in the kitchen, and maybe, in front of the TV, but that's my limits. I don't eat in the bedroom. I'm sure not going to eat in the shower.
No. I'm pretty sure you can also buy something that will give you that experience that is not the orange itself.
Yeah, but a
agree.
shower beer is good. Paul says not good, but I mean, you've been like working the yard, or say you went 3-1 in a double elimination softball tournament in Anniston. You get back to the Holiday Inn.
Very
you
specific.
Grab a
Paint it.
beer and jump in the shower, get that dirt off. It's good feeling.
Well, maybe you add an orange to it and report back.
Time
All
for
right,
one more.
Time for one more. The last one, we have some clever signs with a dude with a sign. You guys have probably all seen this on social media. There's a few knockoffs now, but he basically just will give interesting tidbits, relatable things.
They call him Seth the Sign Dude, and he's in New York City. Every day he comes up with a different sign.
Checkout should be the same time as check-in. Jennifer Brown has said this many times.
Yeah.
Why do I get to check in at 4, but I have to check out at 10?
Yeah,
checkout's at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, we want a late checkout.
Yeah.
They will tell you it's because we've got to flip the room over with that, but it's
Right.
100%. I'm getting
stealing a day.
short-changed. I'm
Yeah.
getting short-changed
Yeah,
of time.
there's no doubt.
By the way, there's a guy who does this on the Rick and Bubba show for years and years. I wonder if this guy in New York, because that guy's a lot older than this guy.
Could have stolen the
Stole
scam.
this, yeah.
You get it. We get it. You play pickleball. A lot of people like to let you know pickleball's fun.
I love pickleball.
Oh, do you? Okay.
love
Never
pickleball.
played it myself.
I've never played it.
Yeah.
If I want to play on that small of a court, I go ping pong. If I want to play
see.
tennis, I go tennis.
Right.
People with thousands of unread emails are psychos. I will pass my phone right now to MEG and let her tell you how many unread emails
gosh.
I have in Gmail right there, bottom right. How many?
Oh my goodness.
How many?
68,000.
It's a lot.
I have 68,000 unread emails.
I'm currently at 0.
Yep.
I'm at 0.
What are you?
Where is yours?
So I'm a psycho.
0.
He didn't have email.
No.
We have one psycho in the room.
My email is 0 as well.
0? I'm at 68,000 unread emails.
I can't do the notifications. I have to.
Yeah, they all have to be taken.
Yep.
Now, I'm not going to reply to you, but I'll.
Yeah, you'll read the heck out of it, yeah.
No, I don't even read it. I'll just check it read.
Got it.
Read.
No one cares that you liked an artist before they were big, 100%.
Yeah.
That Chris Stapleton was that guy when he hit it big. So many people, I listen to Chris Stapleton every year. I'm like, I don't really care.
Bryan.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, well, done what he likes to do.
You're too nice to me to flip you off this early in our relationship. But
there's no way I'm unpacking the same day I get home. I used to be that way. I used to just continue to operate out of my suitcase the rest of the week.
Somebody that I live with likes to put the suitcase in the hallway and just let that bad boy sit there.
Yeah,
for a couple
I don't
weeks.
understand that either. But I've gotten out of where as soon as I get home, dirty clothes in the dirty clothes, clean clothes back where they go, and let's go. Or sometimes I just put it all in the dirty clothes.
No,
let
to
it
me,
ride.
well, see, I wash my own clothes, and it has been an eye-opening experience this summer that every time I've gotten back from a trip, the suitcase goes to the laundry room. I unpack and start doing laundry immediately.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell us you're leaving social media. 100% agree.
Yes.
You don't need to tell me you've unfollowed me on social media or you're about to.
Right.
As people say on social media, this is not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure.
Yeah.
You just go right ahead.
I'm just trying to see who my real friends
That's
are.
right.
Or you're not going to watch this segment.
That's right. You don't have to tell me that. You
This
just
is
don't
my
have to
favorite
watch it.
one.
Servers, we don't want you to memorize our order. I'm 100%
It's
with this
super
guy.
stressful,
Yep.
especially when you're very specific about an order.
I try to have grace in life. I've been given grace in life. By the good Lord, I try to have it myself, Amy G.
Yep.
But when a server comes to my table without the pad and wants to memorize my order, you better get it right.
Yep. That is a bold
That's right.
statement to make.
And I hate it, too, when they get to the end and they have to come back and say, now, did you say? I'm like,
Yes.
if you had written it down, you wouldn't be right back here asking me. Is that the last? Oh, no, wait. You don't have to watch your TikToks at full volume. I might be guilty of this.
It does hurt my experience.
Yeah. No one cares how early you wake up.
Are all these at me, Rockstar?
That was the last one.
I mean, I do all of these. I mean, by the way, 5 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Why'd you sleep in?
I hope your coffee wasn't too cold because I got here so early today for us.
Good guy. Such a good guy. That's it.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
MortgageRight.com/TNR NMLS 2239 for Mortgage Right.
If I told you TalladegaSuperspeedway.com will get you tickets to see what concert? Have you got it memorized yet? Hardy in concert. That's exactly right.
Wait in the truck.
Yeah, you got September 30th for the Craftsman Truck Race, October 1st for the Yellowwood 500 NASCAR, both of them playoff races. Saturday night's the Hardy concert. Get your tickets there, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Lance Taylor joins us in the next segment. We will give you our pick 3 and wrap up a big college football weekend. Don't forget, we'll be sending out a complete link of everything we put out this week. Disrupt the Media. Disrupt the Media YouTube. War Dam Pods, Roll Tide Pods. It's really important you follow Roll Tide Pods or War Dam Pods to get specific Auburn and Alabama stuff that you may not get in the main part of Disrupt the Media. Ton of content out there. So go follow, like, and subscribe all of those. Our picks when we come back, EG. Thank you. We're back on TNR.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at LegacyCreditUnion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Open 24/7, so come on in for nonstop gaming action. You'll find the latest, hottest, most exciting games around. And you'll love the fun bonuses and big jackpots. Plus, you can watch and wager on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails. And don't forget about that 29-degree man-sized drafts. It's Twin Peaks at the Patton Creek Shopping Centers.
The extra hours of sunshine are back on the clock, and that means it's time for golf at Timberline, a short drive from Birmingham or Montgomery. Go to timberlinegc.com, timberlinegc.com to book your tee times, schedule a lesson, or just drop by and use the TrackMan technology on the driving range. The course is always fun, in great shape, and you can even become a member. Get all the details at timberlinegc.com. It's time to get your golf on with our friends at Timberline.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
LT in just a second. I was on my way down to Bud Light game night last night at Top Golf, and I stopped and had lunch, and the bartender at the place I was at walked in, and he had just pulled some fresh jalapenos out of his garden.
Oh, wow. He's growing to that's literally farm to table.
And he says, I'm about to make a spicy margarita. Do you want some? These are fresh out of my garden. Do you want one? And I was like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm going to drink beer in a second. No. And so he started making it, and I said, what the heck? Go ahead and make me one. It was delicious. And then I tried to tell him that it would be even better if he'd used the Maestro Dobel Diamante tequila. He had never heard of it. So I had him look it up, and he says, oh, this sounds fantastic. I was explaining to him how the fact that it's aged in wood barrels from the Balkan region of Eastern Europe really changes the flavor and how crystal clear it can be. So you check it out. Order it by name, Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila. Let's bring in Lance Taylor. Lance, it's been a busy few hours. Last night first, I want to get your reaction to what the Lions were able to do to the Chiefs. They didn't get as many sacks as I thought they would get, but boy, the clock sped up on Patrick Mahomes last night. Aiden Hutchinson and those guys got after him.
Yeah, I was really impressed with what Detroit's defense was able to do. The offense was great last year. The problem was the defense, and it looks like they fixed some of those problems. But again, Travis Kelce is that big of a factor. I thought Kansas City would find a way to win that game. I was really surprised with all the hype that Detroit was able to handle that. But, hey, they're the real deal.
Yeah, they are. Kansas City's got no receivers. I mean, even with Kelce back, Lance, you can't throw to him 40 times a game. I mean, who else is Mahomes going to throw to?
Yeah, I really don't know. I thought Kadarius Toney would have a big year, but I don't know if there's one of those guys out there. They should have signed DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. Or Dunaway says trade for Mike Evans.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they jump into the market for Mike Evans, because Patrick Mahomes' window is only open for so long. Speaking of windows being open, Joe Burrow gets the contract before he plays the game. We talked about it on Bud Light game night. You said he would play regardless of the contract. Doesn't have to worry about it. Now the highest paid player in NFL history, $55 million a year, long-term contract, 212 of it is guaranteed. You love the guy. The window is open for the Bengals, especially this year, but getting such a big contract, we've seen this happen with a lot of teams. That means if they don't win it this year, they may start losing some of these parts.
Yeah, that's the problem is you pay somebody $55 million a year. I mean, these contracts have gotten ridiculous. I mean, he deserves it. In my opinion, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, It's hard to say that because Patrick Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls, but just technically, that guy is lights out. And I don't know. It's so difficult in the AFC because realistically, there's 5 or 6 teams that could win that conference and ultimately win a Super Bowl.
Going back to Mahomes, though, I think you see with Mahomes, when the quarterback makes that much money, how hard it is to find guys to go around him. And you wonder, Lance, if Burrow runs into that. He's got 2 good receivers, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But when you start making that kind of money, can you pay those guys the kind of money it takes to keep them,
Yeah, I don't know. How they'll defer this and, signing bonus and all that kind of stuff. You got to get really creative.
Dallas and the Giants, Cowboys-Giants, primetime NBC, Cincinnati and Cleveland, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, Miami, the Chargers, Philadelphia in New England. Which game is sitting, jumping out for you other than the Rams, of course, for this opening weekend? Which one are you most excited about?
Well, Philadelphia, to me, along with San Francisco, they are clear-cut the best teams in the NFC. But going on the road to New England, I think it's going to be interesting. Mac Jones, they're trying to get him weapons. Juju Smith-Schuster's in there now. This is a big year for Mac Jones, big year for Bill Belichick, too. So I think this could be one of these sneaky upsets in the late window on Sunday.
Okay, we'll talk about the college football after we give our pick threes here. It's brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Tell us a little bit about Buffalo Wild Wings as Forrester pulls up the scoreboard that Taylor quickly threw together here. It was not a great week for us last week. 1-2 for ULT, 1-2 for Brown, 0-3 for Dunaway.
Ouch.
So as a group, I drug us down 2-7 as a group. Tell us about Buffalo Wild Wings and just what a great place it is for food.
Yeah, 11 Central Alabama locations, including the new Buffalo Wild Wings to-go location right there in Vestavia. The number 1 sports bar in Birmingham now for over 20 years, wall-to-wall TVs, all locations remodeled, 26 sauces and seasonings, along with a full menu of great burgers, wraps, and salads. Stop in, check it out, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, I'm in last place, so I guess I should go first.
Yeah, why not, man? Bat lead off for us. So with 0 for 3, bat not off the shoulder.
With the warning that I'm 0-3 at the bottom, give me these teams. I think Vandy takes it to Wake Forest. They could win this game outright. I'm kicking myself. I did not pick them as my upset alert to get those points this week. I think Vandy keeps it inside the number at 10. I think Troy keeps it inside 16.5 on the road at Kansas State. And I like Iowa State getting points at home in the Cy-Hawk. Donald Trump, President Trump, will be there at that game. Iowa State plus the 4. So give me Vandy plus the points, Troy plus the points, and Iowa State plus the points. Much like Wimp, I always want LT's instant reaction to my plays. You like any of those?
His affirmation.
Yeah, I kind of do. I like, I don't know about Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's the only one that kind of scares me off.
Hey, so Lance, I was in the I was telling Furman I was at the convenience store this morning. Somebody stopped me and asked about one of the games I'm about to play here. He asked me several games. One of them, he said, take a look, or he actually said, get Lance. He doesn't trust me. He said, get Lance to take a look at the Vandy Wake over, 57.5 Vandy Wake total. Do you have any lean on that?
I probably would lean under. It seems like an easy over. I really haven't looked at that total a lot. And, Dave Clawson is such a good offensive coach. And then you got Clark Lee, the good defensive coach. A.J. Swan, really good quarterback. I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay. I'll tell him he's probably watching right now. Come back Saturday morning for the Saturday morning show. Lance may look into that at lanceslock.com.
That's right, lanceslock.com for the real plays tomorrow morning before the time kicks off, lanceslock.com. An easy ways to sign up. If you just want to try it one day, you can do it for a small fee there. And you check out all the pricing online at lanceslock.com, but a very reasonable price for just one day. Try it out for tomorrow and enjoy lanceslock.com. Brownie, what's your plays?
All right, Lance, I'm going to go Nebraska plus the 2.5. We've talked about it all week. I think Baylor plus the 8 and Texas Tech plus the 6.5. I've talked about that game all summer, what a tough spot it is for Oregon. I continue to do that. My theme right here, Lance, is you'll notice, or anyone that wants to look, is you'll notice, lost last week, catching points. Lost last week, catching points. Lost last week, catching points. I followed a theme right there.
Yeah,
all my teams lost last week, and they're catching points.
I think your betting service, you didn't use it because you were so good last year. I think you've You were so bad last week with the Brown Bandit and the pick 3 that you signed up for the betting service again.
Well, Lance has already told me Brown Bandit was a bad play on Washington State. But
yeah, I do like Wisconsin. I was going to put it in the pick 3, but I'm not. I agree with 2 of yours, though. I've got to play Nebraska here.
Yeah,
I just think Tony White, their defensive coordinator, will make adjustments. This will be night and day from what you saw against TCU. I don't trust Jeff Sims at quarterback. As long as he doesn't turn it over, they're going to be fine. I like Nebraska plus the points there. I like Texas Tech, too. I agree with you right there on Texas Tech. I think Tyler Shuck will have a big game against his former team. Major letdown, blowing the 17-point lead in Wyoming. But I think they bounce back. I think they win the game outright. And then Pac-12 after dark, I like Cal. I think Jade Knott has a big game. I think it's going to be really, really tight. It will come down to one possession. But give me the points against Auburn.
Yeah, we're playing that. MyBookie.ag is playing that right now at 6.5. Cal. So
So those are your plays in Nebraska, Texas Tech, and Cal.
Yeah, I like all 3 dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, boy, I think we all went dogs, didn't we? You got 3 dogs.
Yeah, all mine were dogs.
Uh-oh. How does that normally work? All nine picks are the dogs. Yeah. The odds of that hitting are pretty low.
It's a dog weekend, except in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
So your thoughts on the game in Tuscaloosa?
Man, that's a tough game too. I had a nationally, a pretty big handicapper reached out to me yesterday about that game, and he said, I want to put it in a tease. Which way do I tease it? And I said, honestly, man, I think you can tease it both ways because I think Alabama will find a way to win the game. I don't think they cover the 7, but 2 touchdowns for Texas seems like too much with this offense that seems like they'll control clock, wear Texas down. I think it's going to be a hell of a game, but I mean, nothing will surprise me. I think Texas could win. I think Alabama could win by double digits. But I think Alabama wins a really tight game, much like last year.
Chip was in studio and said this game comes down to him, as most games do, as who's the best quarterback. And I said, well, who do you think the best quarterback is? He said, I don't really know. He very much liked what he saw out of Milroe last week. And he said Chip seemed like he's cast a little doubt on Quinn Ewers, that he's not quite a Quinn Ewers believer just yet.
Yeah, I've heard that from Texas fans. I mean, they don't feel like he's really turned the corner. He's got a lot of skill around him. And Jalen Milroe, hell, who knows, man? He could be the next Jalen Hurts for all I know. He could be awful. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, this is a big game for both of those quarterbacks.
If I asked you more design runs for Milroe this weekend, yes or no?
1,000% yes.
Yeah.
And that's something that Texas, and Brock Heward was talking about that, or Tom Luganville, I forget. I get them mixed up.
A lot of shows we do, yeah.
Yeah, if you've got a quarterback that's that dynamic, you've got to account for him. And, if you don't, it's basically 11 on 10. But when you've got that, it's different dynamic altogether. And I do think Tommy Rees is going to use the athleticism of Jalen Milroe. And so there will be a lot of design runs.
Chip, earlier in the show, you can go back and watch it, said he's been told they will spy Jalen Milroe, expecting him to run the ball, which usually opens something up. If you got a guy committed to wherever Jalen Milroe goes, then that opens up something somewhere. Yep. So we'll see how it all plays out. Safe travels to you. Lance will be with us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time, right in the middle of game day to kick off our Saturday, and then with us post-game at the conclusion of the Auburn-Cal game. When that's over, wee hours of Sunday morning, is when we'll wrap up the day on our video platforms for our pregame and our postgame. So a long day with us tomorrow. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you back here live 9 a.m. Central Time on Monday. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless America.